Who did I scare? Anyone?
21 whole moths, surely radiance isn't far.
What? Stream streak? What's the stream streak on my thing? Leon Kennedy Enjoyer reached 5 stream streak. You said penis.
Sub with Prime Freaks.
Is that something you guys like do, or is it just you showing up in chat? Is it doing it?
We back freaks, 27 moths. My clothes are being eaten as I speak.
It's been there for like a week already. I've been gone. Also, it has not shown up in my activity feed until just now. Leave me alone.
"41 months. Let's go. Hope you and chat have an amazing day." It's me, the surprise Yowie man. Do not worry. You are safe today. Love you, chat. And you too, I guess, Sneeg.
Sit. Safe from what? Oh! Safe from Yowie? Never safe from Yowie with this chat, bro. You guys are awful. Chat, do you want to see something?
Finally, it is my birthday, no way. Here is a celebratory cheers. Cheers! Maybe pregnant man. Pregnant man. Pregnant man. Cheers!
What am I hearing?
Meow.
I have unk status. Minecraft unk status achieved. I guess I had that with the migrator cape too, but it's not as cool. Wow, I look... That's so stellar.
Fuck time, Mr. Sneep Snorp.
Did I run into Foxman? Yeah, unfortunate. I ran into Foxman at the airport too. He stalked me all the way back home. I opened up Twitter by accident.
Here I sit, broken-hearted. Tried to shit, but only farted. Then one day I took a chance. Tried to fart, but shit my pants.
What is happening?
Hi. 9 months, let's go.
Hold on, Joe's texting me. He's asking me about stuff to do. Because Joe's like, I'm going to schedule my life for 3 weeks because he's an actual adult. And I'm like, what do I do today? Why did my Chatterino time me out? Hello?
My crinkle plushie just got here today. So happy to finally have the snail. He is so soft and squishy.
What is that emote? Homophobic cat looking at Yowie?
Hi Snurp, it was super epic to meet you. I was too nervous to talk for more than like a minute, but I'm the one who made the plushie. Great job
Really?
at MCC. I was rooting for y'all.
Oh, dude, thank you for that. That thing's crazy. Why can't I look at the emote?
Two saw you at the airport.
That's true. Oop was following me around,
What
everybody.
the heck, 2 months?
They ran into me like 5, 6 separate times. Not even in the same area on different days. It was kind of wild. What the hell? What are they doing in that video? Why are they so fast? Hold on, Joe's asking me things. I forgot. I can't get distracted. It could appear at any moment, bro. Ah!
She on my cellular antenna, but I wears in trillionaire. At Prime's Gold War. This are 10 me, and it takes 2 girls.
Right.
Yeah.
What?
Hey Sneeg, I hope the weekend was fun.
It was great.
I missed out on your meet and greet due to traffic. Besides that, I was working on my hot guy cosplay in the hotel while watching MCC on my phone, and when my mom heard you talk she said you sounded like Obama Lamau.
I sound like Obama. Welcome to the stream. Chat. Can I get 5 thumbs? That's so funny, guys, because there's my friends and I have a bar in San Diego that we went to yesterday or last year. I don't know why I said yesterday. Just by chance. It was the block party night and everything was closed off. And we were like, we have to find a bar that we can actually go to. And we call it the Obama bar. Because there's just a bunch of it's just a random dive bar in San Diego, and in the middle of it,
Adam,
it's just a random picture of Obama, but it's like giant. And it just says like it's this. We went back to it today or the other day. It's such a big photo, dude. It's just Obama. It's so funny. It's such a big ass picture.
Yo.
So we just call it the Obama bar because like it's like one of the first things you notice when you walk in is there's just a giant Obama picture.
Hello, it is I, Sneegsnag.
That's crazy. Need to know the name of that bar? I think it's called, it starts with a T, Tivoli's or something. It's honestly not a popular bar, which is a shame because I don't think I've had a bad experience there. Maybe it's because the vibes are always up with us because we're always excited to see Obama. What the hell are we doing? Did I hear about the Emiru situation? I was 4 tables away from it. So I might have seen it, yeah. My meet and greet was at the exact same time. It was Emiru, Scott, another guy whose name is escaping me, and then myself.
That reminds me of how a restaurant in my town has a chair with a plaque on it from when Obama came through in like 2011.
So I was right there. And honestly, I respect the hell out of her because she walked back after it happened and she walked back out and finished her meet and greet. There was like easily 50 more people to go through and she stayed for the whole thing. I respect the hell out of her for it. And I hope she's overall okay. I think there was a huge like ultimately you know, not to downplay, there's only so much you can do. I think Twitch could have done way better with the meet and greet like layout. Personally, there was like a huge like she can't do much. There's not a whole lot she can do. She had personal security. They're the ones that stepped in. So it's like, what more can she do realistically? I don't know. I think Twitch did a terrible job of addressing it, basically. I think that was dumb. I think, like, there was, like, okay, I don't think there was much wrong with, there's not a whole lot wrong with the way it's set up. VidCon doesn't really do much different, if I'm honest with you, in terms of how it looks. It's where it is. Like, excuse me. TwitchCon's meet and greet thing, there was a giant open space right next to it on the side. Like, and then on the other side is the Twitch Rivals Arena. So there's like no way for somebody to get on from the other side. And then it's the behind the stage, right? But there's a whole
God, there
right
was so
side.
much drama happening this year at TwitchCon. Dan Clancy dropping a woman on their head, security issues, throwing VTuber gifts away, faceless streamers that had to show their face while they specifically didn't want to cuss privacy.
Whole lot of stuff. Whole lot of stuff. We can talk one at a time. Stay a little focused. So we'll focus on what happened to Emiru. I know I don't know her personally, but I was also like right next to her, basically. I was not even 50 feet. Like I said, I was like 3 tables over. You could check the meet and greet schedules. It was at the same time. I was talking to a fan when it happened and just like turned around to this dude just like on the table. Basically, a guy walked up, and once again, this is my issue with the situation is there was a giant open space next to the meet and greet section, which is just not good because people are just walking up and down near it, right next to it. And they made her the first table. So she's the first person right on that rope, like right next to the opening. Maybe if she was further in, it would have been harder for the guy to get there. Like if we had swapped places, it might have been harder for him to even jump through the line, right? That's a what about, like that's a hindsight. We have no idea. He did not have a knife, guys. He did not have a knife. There's like bag checks, there's metal detectors. There was no. I was right there. Like once again. Like, I didn't see it fully happen, but what I did see was I heard Emiru shout, and I turned around to her security pushing him, and him knocking over all of her stuff on the table.
Was fun getting to meet you during your meet and greet.
And then I watched her security grab him and shove him out of the area.
Makes sense now why so many people said they were too scared to go for these reasons.
So that's what happened. He didn't pull out a knife. He didn't try to do nothing. He tried to kiss her. She obviously pushed him away and it didn't happen, thankfully. And then her security stepped in and pushed him off of her. He got knocked into her table and knocked over a bunch of stuff that she was given by fans before that. And her own security grabbed him and pushed him away and sent him, like he walked out, like he got away. All right. That's what happened. Like there wasn't more than that. More should have been done, but there wasn't. Like what happened is fucked up, but they're like, what isn't going to help, guys, is if you spread this misinformation. Because all that does is make it harder for Emiru and other female streamers to get the security and safety they require if you continue to like believe these added details that have not been verified. Because they haven't been, because it wasn't true. Right? You just hurt victims. That does not help anybody. Okay?
Twitch's accessibility is also ass.
Like, there is a lot going on with that situation. I think that, like, I mean, what more? I'm not going to change much. We know exactly what should have happened. I think everybody knows exactly what should have happened after it happened. I don't think what happened should have. I think, like, the meet and greet section, the streamers need to be, like, in away from people's walking areas. Because once again, she was table 1, like from where I'm standing to the Among Us on the wall, there would be people walking right there. Like there was that rope, like the segment, the queue line, whatever it is, the rope line. But as you saw, he just walked under it and walked up. Like he cut off a fan in the middle of their interaction with Emiru to him to do this stupid shit. So, like, I mean, that's just not smart. Like, I would have gladly swapped spots with her if it made it more safe for her, because I'm like a big ass white dude. I don't deal with nearly as much, obviously, which is stupid, but just how it is. Yeah, man. I think Twitch responded terribly. I think that, like, the safety of streamers is a priority if they want to continue to have attendance. The only reason people go is because they want to see people like me, people like Emaru, and others. You know what's going to stop that is especially when female streamers feel unsafe. Because there are plenty of them who bring in plenty of people, and they deserve safety first. I want to make this clear too, guys, that like you should be really careful about what you believe happened at TwitchCon. Except what is definitively proven. Because you know who has huge incentive to continue to spread disinformation is Kick. And they would absolutely fund slandering anything about Twitch. They would. They absolutely would. So they could summon any bots, anybody, anything, any funding, any misinformation. They would do anything. They would spread all of it because they know that that works. Like, I'm not saying don't believe nothing because obviously stuff happens, but they are very incentivized to stir the pot here, right? What else happened, man? I mean, lots of stuff happens. I don't like, I think plenty happens every year. I think that doesn't mean it shouldn't be addressed or talked about or improved upon. I think there's only so much you can do and predict. And as long as Twitch continues to respond in a way that is like willing to improve, there's something there. I don't think they addressed what happened to Emaru very well. I hope that they are personally fixing it in her eyes. There's a lot of people. I think Scar said something about this too, how Scar was unable to get up to the stage. Bad taste in my mouth. Clearly he was a little annoyed by it. What I do know is that his team was super supportive of his accessibility, which is really nice of them. I also know that like when it came down to Dodgebolt and they realized that his team was in it, they moved the crowns from off the stage to where he could access them. I don't think that fixes the situation because ultimately he should have just been able to get up there. But there was a bit of oh shit by them in that regard. At least by the Twitch Rivals Minecraft staff at that moment. I don't know if that was an MCC fix, a Minecraft team fix, or a Twitch Rivals staff fix. But I think when you have a big, impactful streamer on stage who is wheelchair bound, you should probably make it to where they can make it throughout the place, right? Duh. I think it's ridiculous. Like I said, they adjusted the crowns to be lower for him when Dodgebolt began and the results were in. Doesn't fix the fact that he should have just been able to get up there to begin with. I mean, that's... I find it hard to believe that there's no singular ramp anywhere throughout that convention center. That's a huge convention center. They should have had somebody, and I mean, MCC is the last day. They should have had somebody looking around that entire weekend. As well as team intros. I would love to do exactly what his team did for team intros. You know how fucking cool it would be to have all of us walking in from behind the crowd? Super cool. That'd be so cool. Has there ever been a TwitchCon without an incident? There hasn't been a VidCon without incident, as we know. Unfortunately, it's hard to handle everything when there's thousands and thousands of people in one space, because there's unfortunately a very small chance that one of those people is a piece of shit. And it was unfortunately more than one this time around. Hate it. I think once again, there's just things that unfortunately happen. I think the response is important, and the willingness to fix it next time is the important piece of this problem. There's a ton you can say. There's a bunch you can criticize, and it's fair. But also, that doesn't fix anything. That doesn't change what happened. That's what happened. It's already done. You guys can't make that easier for Scar or safer for Emaru behind. It's done. You can make next year better for them. You can make next year safer. You know what I mean? And that's where your criticism should be loud. You shouldn't just be yelling to be. You can be mad and you can yell and be mad, but if you don't bring forward positive change along with criticism, you're just ranting, and that doesn't solve a whole lot. Now, if the people affected directly want to do that, they're absolutely welcome to. I will not lower that voice. But being upset and just yelling about it doesn't fix anything. Because once again, I do feel like Twitch did not respond well in the moment with what happened to Emaru. They should have chased that dude down like a dog. If I had known he walked away, I would have jumped out of my meet and greet line. I saw the security guy grabbing him and pulling him away. I thought he was going to wherever the fuck they were going to take him. Apparently, he was just gone. He was caught on Chris's stream walking away. What the fuck? How the hell? Isn't that crazy? Chris just happened to stream snipe my meet and greet as a joke. And as Chris is leaving the meet and greet area, he's walking past his stream. Wild. Yeah, the back checks were better. Once again, I don't know, guys. It is hard. I think a lot of people also need to realize that, like, literally all of these people are not Twitch. You understand this, right? Security, like, all of them are not Twitch. They're all local people or people who work for the convention center hired for every single event.
She had to make a fuss for them to go track him down. And then he only got a ban for 30 days initially.
Like, it's basically like the convention center hires people to work for them during things, and they have contracts. Does that make sense? That doesn't make it like ultimately a lot better, but what does make it hard, and I imagine what is confusing for a lot of those employees, is that every convention has different standards. And if you're one of those people that works a bunch of them, I imagine it gets confusing. We're all human, right? Doesn't make it fully better. I do understand where that can happen. I think people giving it I think people blaming specifically just Twitch as if all these people are Twitch employees who are dropping the ball accessibility and security wise is a little unfair on Twitch's end, but I do think Twitch can do a better job of communicating specifics. I think that's an absolutely fair criticism. Like I said, guys, there's, you know, so much you can criticize, and that's fair. I think the first step is being critical and being upset. I think step 2 is taking that towards positive change and actually giving them things that they can do to actually do that next year. I don't think just being upset about it solves much. Unless it comes to it being like your experience, then you can be as upset as you want. But if you're a person who wasn't even there and you're just hearing all this stuff and yelling about it, like, please come up with ideas. Like, that's my only thoughts, guys. I mean, like, I think what, like, I mean, we're all people. Some of you and myself have grown so much throughout the years. And
Sneeg,
like,
my 21st was yesterday and I was going to tweet and ask you about some drinks ideas and could I get a happy birthday from you?
happy birthday, dude. Drinking advice, have a beer to drink. The most common and available drinks at places is a beer. Get a light beer that you like to drink. It might take some experimenting, sucks, but Scar deleted his initial tweet. Yeah, oh, he's a great example of this, guys. He is obviously like one of the most affected by accessibility concerns. And I think his tweet was great. He came at it with a very like upset, but not like, but he deserves to be furious. He can be as furious as he wants. He can rage hell for the entirety until next TwitchCon if he wanted to. And he would be fair to do so. I mean, it's crazy to not give him access. It's crazy to make it harder for him to get around. It's hard enough for him to get around. What are they doing? Right? But his tweet is very good in the sense that like he is saying that he would personally help them improve that. That's so respectable to be the person affected and say that they'll help. I mean, he could have done so much. He could have responded in such a different way and he'd be totally valid to do so. But I think that like this is something he deals with a lot, and I can guarantee you that like he probably knows the experience won't get better unless he's helping with direct change. And I love that from him. I respect that. I don't know him much. I don't talk to him much. But I respect that. I respect the hell out of it, and I'm sorry he had a hard time with it this time around. Could do better for sure. And I hope they would. I will say that in a lot of ways, there has been improvement throughout the years. As a person who's been to like every TwitchCon since 2019, except the first Rotterdam one, security has been really bad in the past. That doesn't make what happened better or excusable, but like there has been there's always been concerns with security, and they tighten up even a little. Doesn't make it better, but I have seen small improvements in the past. I don't know. Doesn't make anything better, but like it's not like, yeah, I mean it could be a convention security issue. Like I said, it isn't even like Twitch isn't hiring these people themselves as personal security. The security and bag checkers and everybody who helps with studios and stuff, they are hired through the convention center. Twitch has a contract with the convention center, and the convention center says, I have people who can do this for you. That's basically how it works. Like, the security concerns within TwitchCon are great to aim towards Twitch, but they also need to be criticized at the convention center, because once again, Twitch isn't the only people in charge of who gets to be doing this, you know? Yeah, nobody broke their back in a ball pit this year. That was good. That was helpful. No golf carts flipping. No ball
wow,
pits.
so many moths.
A lot of gaming booths. I will say there seemed to be a lot to do this convention. I could be wrong. I was very busy. Who's accountable? The center or Twitch? Both. I think, like, once again, both. I think people want to blame Twitch because that's the closest thing to blame and the easiest one to yell at. But you do understand that, like, convention center is just as accountable. The security companies that the convention center hires is just as accountable. And the ideal is that it goes up the ladder from Twitch being criticized to them asking the convention center to get it together, etc. You know, there's only a ton we can do. Personal security themselves. Once again, you know, I'm not in the contract negotiations, obviously. There could be stuff in place that doesn't allow them to do that. You have to understand that. Like, there is a conglomeration of people in charge of the convention center who get to decide what goes where and who goes where and who's hired for what. It could be a contractual thing where Twitch cannot even, like, Twitch can't assign personal hiring to these stations. And it's entirely possible Twitch can say nothing about it due to non-disclosure agreements. I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate here because as a person who's, you know, seen plenty of contracts and studied enough law with his degree, like, these things can happen. It would not be shocking to me that if the convention center had contracts binding Twitch to specific companies for security detail, and those security details hired people cheap or negligent because it saved them money, because we live in a society that's capitalistic and works for profit rather than improvement.
$40 months. Nice.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard because there's a lot of nuance. And once again, I don't want to there's really not a whole lot I should say. I'm just a random white boy who doesn't deal with nearly as much compared to others, and that's a shame. They should all have the same amount of privilege that I was given for no reason other than being born how I am. But due to the way that this dynamic is, I don't want to be drowning out people who are actually victimized. So I can't pretend to deal with nearly as much. I don't want to pretend I should be the focal center of this issue. I certainly have my piece to say, especially as a person who was like right by Emaru when this happened. And obviously near Scar and what he dealt with, but like that obviously didn't happen to me, and I would rather not drown out what occurred to either of them. I don't want to like overshadow what they're saying. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're, you know, much more popular than me, so I don't think they'll have any trouble with me saying something, but I don't want to I don't even want to come across like that. I hope they reach out to Scar. I hope they reach out to Scar, and I hope he makes it. I hope he is like a great advocate for accessibility at Twitch, especially at the conventions. I mean, that is like, who's a better representative than somebody who needs that accessibility and is a streamer? That's a beautiful person to have on hand for helping. I hope they reach out to Emaru or any other female streamer who is bothered constantly, especially at conventions, by stupid fucking people. And they at least find something that makes them breathe a little lighter. You know what I mean? That is as much as I can hope for. I don't like, yeah. The amount of IRL streams this year was staggering. There's a lot of people thinking that they can ride the wave of IRL streaming. It is fascinating. Not even just at the convention, guys. Every single bar we went to near Gaslamp had people IRL streaming, like on a Saturday night. I was like, what are we doing? I'm probably in a bunch of random clips that Happy does, because there was just like 5 people streaming there Saturday night, I think. And I'm like, why not? Do we have nobody to like, I don't know. It's so fascinating to me. I think there needs to be like more spaces where they can't record. I think there's a few. There's probably not enough. There's probably not any for the general public. So live stream your life nonstop type shit. Yeah. Watch me objectify a woman and get upset that she clapped back at me. And then I'll just like make fun of her and her friend in response, because I'm just like a stupid Cro-Magnon of a human being who's not even supposed to be invited to this fucking shit anyway, because I'm just a controversial piece of shit. Shout out to Emerone, by the way. I love that girl. She's so fucking fun. What a godlike response to that. As like a person who's known M for a few years, like, he probably picked the worst person to say that to. Like, she does not let that shit fly. So I loved that for her, and I hope she's fine too. Just another reason there should be like, people just shouldn't, there's just to be places people can't do that. Didn't Gumi have trouble with their meet and greet? I don't know. Our Minecraft one together was fine. I did also see people were saying that like I couldn't get access to my meet and greet. I mean, like, yes, but no. They were confused because I walked up from the general entrance and they were like, "Who are you here for?" And I was like, "That's my line." And they were like, "Oh." And then obviously the person didn't know what to do because I didn't go to the streamer entrance, and that's my fault. So she was trying to find anybody to help her. I did not go in the way the streamers are supposed to. That was my bad. I just didn't know where it was, so I just walked up to the main entrance and I was like, "Hey, can I just go in? Can I just..." But I didn't want to just like go over the line. I didn't want to just climb over. So I did awkwardly sit there for a bit too long. Being my own security risk all the time, bro. I don't need nearly as much security as some people. I'm not that popular. And even if I am popular amongst the amount of people that go and want to see me, like, I don't think I've had an experience that makes me feel like I need that. You guys have been nothing but nice to me. And also I'm like a giant dude. I will like literally headbutt somebody. I think I've thought about this many a time. If somebody tries to start shit with me, I would probably immediately headbutt them. I'm not joking. I would head first throw my head into them as hard as I can. Why headbutt? Because I have a fat ass head and I know I would thug it out. The amount of people that would not expect that or be able to handle it is very high. And I would absolutely be able to do it. I will headbutt somebody if I have to. Like, I don't have any problem. What I will say is it is really hard to get me there. My threshold is giant. Like, I have a giant threshold for bullshit. I deal with you guys every day, right?
Now that I've reached 36 months, I'm unsubbing. Bye.
Wow, thanks. I've thought about it plenty. I've thought about having to do it. And I would not hesitate. You're going to blink and you're going to see my fucking 5 head coming at your skull, dude. And I will concuss you for multiple months.
I feel
I'll
like
find
as
the
well
hospital
the
they take you to, and I'll do it
like
again just to make it harder for you. Especially if it's something to do with my wife or kids. No question. No question. And a lot of people in relationships or in marriages probably feel the same way. It's like there's a protectiveness to your spouse that is unquestionable, and especially your kid. Like the amount of times this happened at the Minecraft party, by the way. I don't even know who this person is, so I don't even know if they know it was me or my wife they were talking to. I find this very amusing, but I'm also like absolutely ready. So like,
my threshold is so large, he says, not even a year after crashing out about the color of a shirt / silly.
Okay, the MCC after party was great. Overall very good. There was some stuff with drinks and things, but we all figured it out, and I think most people had plenty to drink and had a good time. I haven't heard anything like bad. That's not what I'm trying to get at, okay? I think Hannah was talking to a friend, and
I volunteered at a convention once, first time, tiny teenager me, and they put me at the autograph lines. I stood there with celebrities and crazy fans with no ID or training, or supervisor if anything happened. I stopped a celebrity from reaching their seat. It was embarrassing even years later.
And so Hannah and I were talking to our friend. I went to go get a drink, like 5 feet away, mind, just by the way. Like, it was like, this is the bar. Hannah was there. There was a table between us, like a just a long arm table for people to lean on. And this has happened multiple times, by the way, because my wife is gorgeous. So this is realistic, and this is what's happened. The friend and her, like, he also goes somewhere. I don't know what they had to do. Like, within not even a minute, Hannah says, this dude just walks up to her. So, which is not the first time, mind you, like, once again.
Hey, I just got a stinky ass nail in the mail. Smell bad, has a blue crown, and is oddly soft. Also hope it was all well. I just got here.
Hannah said that
Hope
it was
one day
pretty
I could
clear
perhaps
that,
meet you
like,
at a con.
Hannah said it was pretty clear that he was, like, got his pickup lines from, like, TikTok or GPT. Is Hannah visibly pregnant? We're like second trimester, so like not if you she's sort of at the point where you don't want to ask, if that makes sense. She has shown more lately, but it's not like an obvious tell. Like, if you knew and you kind of took a look at her, you'd be like, that, yeah, she is. She said that he like approached her and was like, what's your favorite book you've read? Don't tell me it's Court of Thorns and Roses, which is like a very like popular book. So of course he's like, oh, I know books. And she was like, no, I've been reading this other book. What did you, because she's nice, she's too nice. And she's like, what do you read? He's like, oh, I don't read. Are you a fucking idiot? Are you a fucking idiot? Like, don't hit on my wife, but like, how in the world, if you're gonna hit on us, on anybody, is that you got the question back? How do you not expect that question to be answered or asked back at you? And you say, I don't read? That made it even like more like, made it even more obvious that he was clearly like just asking based off of a prompt or like a internet
Just got
advice.
out of school. Can I explode yet?
Sure.
I'm tired of this already. Anyways,
Which was
23 months, so close to 2 years.
Anyway, it eventually gets to the point where he realizes that she's definitely married.
You know what's funny? My group passed by you, Hannah, and Smager, and I recognized Hannah first before either of you.
That's because she's a vision, and I'm just a white guy. To be fair. Anyway, you know, it eventually gets to the point where this guy realizes that not only is she married, she's married to a person who is like one of the main people of the events party he's at. So yeah, he kind of gave up pretty quickly. I didn't even know this happened. I immediately said I'm here with my husband, and he got so like immediately, I'm done talking to you. Yeah. I just love his like I don't read comment. I'm like, dude, how do you get the confidence to approach a girl to clearly flirt, and you don't even have like expected responses? Who the fuck asks a question not expecting it to be fired back at them?
Princess Sook, so many moths, I can't count them all, help gulp.
You know what the advice I would give is fucking read something. That way you can ask that question and respond as well. Even if it's an audiobook. Yeah, also you like shit on an extremely popular book at the moment.
Hello,
Yeah.
wet napkin. Welcome back to your monthly dad jokes. Here's this month's joke.
Okay.
How do you catch a whole school of fish? With bookworms. Ha. Ha ha.
W. Very cool, Obama. Anyway, Hannah's dealt with this a lot. Dealt with it at a bar. Which women deal with this a lot. I can't fix that. I don't know how to fix that. It's just very funny how bold some men are. We walked into a bar together, and this dude like is immediately complimenting her right next to me. We walk in together. I have my ring on. Hannah's got a beautiful wedding ring. It's hard to miss. We go further into the bar to see all of our friends who are there. He shows up like a minute later to continue talking to her. Continues complimenting very niche things about her because he's clearly been like, okay, I know that like women like hear the same things. So if I comment like these specific things, she'll be like, wow, he really notices me. And then it's like, once again, clear that like she's married because Hannah's, nice enough to let them talk their shit, but then like prompt enough to be like, no chance, buddy. And then he just turns around and is immediately talking to some other girl, basically doing the same strat. I was like, and of course, like I'm witnessing this. It's crazy that like I see the whole thing. Like I've seen a majority of these play out. It's so funny to me. It's so amusing to me. Oh, dude, I love witnessing it. It's so entertaining. Because there's a bunch of men who approach women with the idea of,
Hello, Mr. Snag.
Sexual
what
interest.
What the hell am I hearing?
And the second that they realize there's not a chance in hell, they go away. Because that's the value of women to them. Didn't it happen at EU TwitchCon too? I mean, Hannah might know more than me. I might have forgotten it. It's possible. At the football bar?
Great googly moogly.
Yeah,
Sneeg
when her and Kristen went to go get drinks. I thought it was somebody being weird to one of our friends, not Hannah, but Hannah was like with them. It's yeah, so cool. I'm sure Hannah might explain it in the chat. I have to pee. It's been an hour. We've just been yapping about shit. I guess that's my whole. That's the category. I gotta pee. I gotta refill my coffee. I'm so tired, dude. My like all 3 days. All 3 days of TwitchCon, it was like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for me. So like I did not sleep much. We had an early morning today because we had an ultrasound. So our daughter's doing great. She's growing too much. She's in the 90th percentile. Not really indicative of birth weight, but like she's growing at a very successful amount to the point where they're like, we might even have to like make the due date quicker. Can she talk? Well, she's in the womb, so like not really. I'm sure she's trying though. Darcy talks great though.
She inherited your big head. F/silly.
All right, give me 1 second. I gotta pee and get coffee, and then we'll do some React stuff for a bit. I don't know for how long. We'll see until I get bored, and then we'll probably do Minecraft. I kind of want to check out the thing Nox Crew made, the Soul Steel thing, because they released it when I was traveling and I haven't even gotten to see it. So I'm curious if I can access Bedrock. I couldn't even log in earlier. But if I can't play Bedrock, I'm not going to be that sad, to be fair. If we can't do that, we'll just go back to the vault, Wold's Vaults, and continue vault hunting, potentially. Okay, be right back.
If Sneeg were a snake, he'd be the Sonoran coral snake, which forces air through its cloaca as part of its defense posture. It farts defensively. It's one of 2 known snake species that do this. The other snake species that performs cloacal popping is the western hook-nosed snake. It been observed farting so hard it briefly lifts itself off the ground. Playing Overwatch SOS.
Oh, that's the wrong audio channel. No, I don't think so.
Hey Sneeg, person who recommended World's Vaults to you.
Uh-huh.
Little more info I got from the World's Discord server and just wanted to tell you in case it made you not wanted to play the pack. Worlds still uses the VH mod, meaning anytime Worlds is downloaded it counts as a download on the VH mod but not the VH mod pack, if you get what I mean. Sorry for not doing my research before recommending it to you. IDK how it helps the mod other than total download numbers.
I don't know either.
Yo, 18 moths. I've been subbed for 18 moths, holy shit, that's a long time. Anyway, this is the freak that's been working on a presentation about Snip Snorp for their class. Guys, the date is coming up. I only have one more week before him presenting. I'm low-key nervous. Anyway, I hope everyone has a lovely day.
But I don't think it does anything besides just what you said. And it uses code. People on CurseForge get money for it? Yeah, but I'm not using CurseForge. Oh. I don't know.
With a rumble, bold and clear, the thunderous fart we sometimes hear. In a crowd or all alone, its mighty sound is fully blown. Echoing through halls and rooms, dispelling all the quiet glooms. Laughter follows, can't refrain, at the roaring, comical train. Bold and brazen, without fear, a sound that's music to the ear. In its wake, smiles appear, for the thunderous fart, we cheer.
What am I hearing?
49 months ago, I subbed. Can I get a Ritz too, please?
Nope, I already ate him. Sorry.
This is...
I'm pulling up reacts. Pulling up reacts. Looking at the react suggestions on my Discord for once. Very cool. All right, we'll see it. We'll see how I feel after this many. Okay. No gifts to show from TwitchCon. Plenty, but I haven't unpacked my suitcase yet. So I got home at like midnight and I got up at like 7 So I was tired and I got up early and had to do stuff. So didn't exactly want to do that yet. But I'll do it at some point. Didn't I take the day off? Why didn't you? I like my job. I don't have a good reason besides that. So
The new Pokemon game has really good character customization and for the first time isn't gender specific.
yeah, but is it
This
good
has of course
though?
upset a certain cesspool of internet virgins, but they are clearly forgetting the in-law explanation that they are putting mega energy in the water to turn the Pokemon transgender.
But is it good? Okay, pretty divisive here. Do you guys feel like if I spent the money to get it on my regular Switch, that it would not run like shit? Do you think it running
Catting
like
fear
shit
is
would
an old
add
saying
to the
about putting a
experience?
horse before the cart. But that is nothing compared to filling your pants with a fart. There is no dignity, I can tell you, or deportment or poise.
You have it
When
on
you
OG and
let
it's
one
fine?
rip and you're deafened by the noise. The truth of the matter is sometimes you quibble with this and
What
that.
is happening,
but a fart
dude?
that smells like zombies means you let fly and chat.
What am I hearing? I have to turn off TTS for React stuff. Obviously. We're making poems out of fart jokes in the TTS right now. Okay. Let's watch a few things. Let's react to a few things. Great to see everybody. Welcome to the YouTube video, if this is one. We're gonna watch some reaction stuff today. Few true crime stuff, few not maybe. These are from the react suggestions of my Discord. So if you're not in my Discord, please go to that. And suggest things if you like specific videos and whatnot. Yeah. And subscribe. And subscribe to my other stuff. Subscribe to my VOD channel and my Twitch so you don't miss Twitch streams, and my gaming channel and my IRL channel. All the things. That's it. Greedy? What the hell? What the hell? Odysseus, thanks for the 14. Jashari, thank you for the 49. Mortis, thank you for the 18. Bonnie with the 17 months. That's a fart. Very cool. Excalibur, thank you for the 67. Juniper, thank you for the 18. Space, thank you for the 28. Quiva, thank you for the 13. Final with the 23. Boo with the 3. Studios Muse with the 23. Skello gifting a sub. Good Kurt with the 36. Dan Yepper with the 30. Unicorn with the 40. Krillin, sorry, with the 13. Skello with the gifted sub. Chronically sick, physically thick. Thank you for the 8 months. Griffin, that took me a second. Griffin Feather, thank you for the 37. Pacha, thank you for the 38. My wife gave me a 78-month sub. I love that so much. She's the best. Pink, thank you for the 15. Adrena Asphyxia, thank you for the 2. Neffy, they with the 54. Spirit with the 9. Chrissy with the 36. Mystic with the 15. Anukish with the 9. Eresh Shaft with the 4. Dragon with the 41. Sam, that trans guy with the 27. Kai Love with the 11. Shatten with the 13. I think that's it for now. And Chaos with the 45. Ender with the 34.
Farting.
Brewing. What the fuck? Now I have to do this song and dance where I have to figure out what display capture I use for crime times. Or React stuff in general. It's probably this one. I think it's this one. Cool. First video of the day. Serial killers that are still on the loose today by Chilling Scares. Very curious. I love ruining my sense of safety. I haven't seen this channel before, so I don't know. We'll see how this is. Strap in, tap in.
Vending machine killer.
Okay.
On April 30th,
start.
1985, a 45-year-old truck driver stopped near a vending machine in Fukuyama, Japan. He was exhausted from work and was looking for an energy drink to help him power through the rest of the day. When he approached the vending machine, however, he noticed something surprising. A bottle of Oranaminsi energy drink was already in the pickup tray. Thinking he'd lucked down on a free drink, the truck driver wasted no time chugging it down. What he didn't know was that this would be the last drink he would ever taste.
Damn.
Instead of the refreshing feeling he was looking for, he felt something horribly wrong with his body. A bitter, burning sensation quickly spread throughout his throat, followed by an intense wave of nausea. It wasn't long before he was lying on the road in excruciating pain. He was rushed to a nearby hospital where doctors discovered a lethal amount of paraquat dichloride in his system. Paraquat is an herbicide that was quite common in Japan at the time. More importantly, it's also highly toxic to humans. When ingested, it can...
Did they say when this took place, or did I miss that? Did they say what year, or did I miss that? 85.
Can lead to severe nausea, throat
unfortunately, a lot of things are
internal
poisonous.
chemical burns, and eventually death. This is also why it's been banned completely from over 70 countries to date. Unfortunately, despite knowing the reason for his illness, there was nothing the doctors could do to save his life. There's no antidote for the deadly chemical today, let alone back then. So, after hanging on to his life for a month, the truck driver passed away on the 30th of May, 1985. At first, investigators assumed that given the nature of his work, he might have accidentally encountered the toxic substance while on duty. However, after reviewing his haul records, they found no trace of this herbicide or anything remotely linked to it. This left them with only one conclusion: the chemical was mixed into the drink he consumed just moments before collapsing in agony. But with no leads or concrete evidence, they couldn't determine whether it was a murder or self-inflicted act, resulting in the case getting shelved for the time being. Now, while this might sound absurd today, you have to understand that paraquat was readily available in the country at the time.
Yeah.
You didn't need any prescription or identification to purchase the chemical, leading to over 1,400 people using it as the poison of their choice in 1984 alone. In other words, the possibility of it being self-inflicted was just as high. However, just as the investigators were about to give up on this case completely, they received tragic news. Another person had fallen victim to the same poison after consuming Oranaminsi.
Realistically, this could still happen. Yeah, I mean, like, hypothetically, we could still have a thing out there that is very carcinogenic and causing a lot of problems within people's bodies that we aren't dealing with, that's being continuously dumped into bodies of water and aerosolized into the air due to companies' greed and capitalistic needs. Hypothetically, wouldn't that be crazy?
On the 5th of September, then another 6 days later, and one more 2 weeks after that. By this point, it was clear that someone was deliberately poisoning vending machine drinks across Japan.
Yeah, this is basically the this is like Japan's Tylenol murder. Interesting. This is basically the Japan version of the Tylenol murders.
This was the work of a deranged serial killer. Unfortunately, this supposed killer was also extremely thorough. He didn't leave any fingerprint or DNA evidence on the drinks he tampered with, and only targeted vending machines with no CCTV
there's
cameras
probably not
nearby.
much footage or cameras
As for why
around
his
in
victims
85.
willingly drank the unknowingly poisoned drinks he left behind, that had to do with the buy
Drink
one
that
get
shit.
one free promotion Oranaminsi was running around the time to entice younger consumers. However, since some people only wanted the one drink, they often left the second free drink near the vending machine as a gift for the next person. This was common enough that people didn't find the laced drinks suspicious and drank them without a second thought.
That's very wholesome.
Sadly, this method was terribly effective. By the end of the year, this mysterious vending machine killer had claimed the lives of 12 victims and had severely injured 35 more. But as I mentioned earlier, this killer was a master of hiding his tracks.
Wow.
He operated all across western and central Japan, as well as Tokyo, making it near impossible for investigators to pinpoint his location. The lack of evidence also made it difficult to figure out his motive. Some speculated that he was doing all this to extort money from Otsuka Pharmaceutical, the company that made Oranaminsi. This is because in 1984, a group called the Mystery Men with 21 Faces threatened to poison food products.
What? That sounds like some cartoon shit. That sounds like a Scooby-Doo thing. The Mystery Men with 21 Faces? What in the world?
Unless the companies paid them money. So some believed that the vending machine killer was a copycat and wanted something similar.
Probably sounds better in Japanese.
However, this theory didn't last very long because Otsuka Pharmaceutical didn't receive any demands or extortion letters from the perpetrator. Additionally, the killer also began using other drinks, like the drink Real Gold.
Look at that Dr. Pepper can.
And even Coca-Cola. Hiroaki Iwao, a Tokyo professor of criminal sociology, proposed a more disturbing theory regarding the killer's motives. He stated, "It is not uncommon for Japanese who live under tremendous pressure, both on the job and in overcrowded communities, to let out their frustrations by hurting someone else. The person responsible may even wait around to see who buys the poisoned drink. He or she may find this is a kind of exhilarating release from the tensions of life in Japan."
Unfortunately.
But even if this was the truth, it still didn't bring investigators any closer to catching the suspect.
This is where we get the psychological behavior of projection. When somebody is so mad at their own things that they look at other people to criticize it for.
Left with no other options, the authorities turned to the public and launched a nationwide campaign on the 27th of September. They placed signs and distributed leaflets telling people to avoid suspicious free drinks and to properly inspect the cap seals on their beverages before consumption. They also instructed vending machine owners to investigate their stock for any anomalies and told chemical shops to monitor their customers more closely. It's
interesting. It's not like it's the issue with the Tylenol killings back in Chicago in America, where there wasn't even like safety breaking with there wasn't even like wrapping in the pill bottles or anything to make it to indicate it was tampered with. That looks like it has a very clear thing to show it's been tampered. So I'm curious how and why that was what was chosen, because it seems like a pretty clear, I mean, that just looks like you can pop the lid with that plastic thing. So I wonder how they were even able to put that back on without it already looking tampered with, you know?
This campaign was, as the number of victims kept increasing even after its launch. But then something unexpected happened. On the 17th of November, the murder spree stopped completely after the death of a 17-year-old girl. She was the only female to have died from the poisoning. It's possible that the person who committed these atrocities had a moral code against harming women, though that's nothing more than a baseless speculation. Due to the complete lack of evidence, the vending machine killer was never identified, cementing this case as one of the most chilling, unsolved mysteries in Japanese history.
Old cases, so we're not going to know.
Little Rock serial stabber. On April 11, 2021, the Little Rock Police Department received a distress
That's fine. That's only like 2 hours from me. That's cool.
Call from South Pulaski Street regarding a potential homicide. When they arrived at the scene, they found a middle-aged woman lying on the street with stab wounds all over her body. This woman turned out to be 41-year-old Deborah Walker. She was homeless at the time and was living on the streets when this incident happened. She was quickly taken to the hospital where medical staff discovered that she had been stabbed at least 15 times. Despite lying on the street, bleeding for what may have been hours, she miraculously survived and managed to regain consciousness the same day.
Damn.
Investigators also visited her in the hospital to gather any information she could provide about her attacker. Unfortunately, she was attacked somewhere between 1 and 4 a.m. It was still dark outside, and all that she saw was that her attacker was a tall, African-American male with a slender build. Now, in most other similar cases, such limited information would hardly be enough to generate any leads. But in this instance, the description Deborah provided left the investigators in disbelief. That's because her attacker's profile closely matched the perpetrator of another incident that took place about 8 months earlier in the surrounding area. The victim of that incident was 64-year-old Larry Eugene McChristian. He was living in Little Rock with his daughter Sarah, who was on probation at the time. On the 20th of August 2020, he had a medical emergency and was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. He was discharged from the hospital the next morning. However, when the hospital staff tried to contact Sarah so she could pick him up, she wasn't answering her phone. So they gave Larry the information about a nearby homeless shelter and a bus token to get there. Later that day, Sarah came to the hospital looking for her father, only to learn that he'd been discharged hours ago. She then reached out to the homeless facility Larry was told about, but they didn't know anything about his whereabouts either. The only option she had was to file a missing persons report and wait for the police to find Larry. 2 days later, on the 24th of August, Sarah received the call she was waiting for. Tragically, it wasn't the news she had hoped for.
That's so
According to the official report, the Little Rock Police Department found Larry's body on South Gaines Street at around 2 a.m. They identified him by the hospital discharge papers he had on him. More importantly, he had multiple stab wounds on his body and was unfortunately already dead by the time the police arrived. His death was declared a homicide, and the investigators began looking for clues almost immediately.
That's so
This proved
negligent.
quite impossible at first, since there were no witnesses, and there wasn't anything that could be used as evidence at the crime scene. However, after inspecting the surrounding houses...
That was in 2020? The hospital just like gave him a token to access a homeless shelter and sent him on his way? That is like painfully recent. I agree. 21? Oh, that little paper in there said 2020, so I just said that. That's shocking. I can't believe the hospital wouldn't just be like, just wait for, you can wait. Like hospitals have a absence of waiting areas. Just wait. 2021 at the start. Oh, that's the first case. Or I guess technically the first victim was 21. This is them connecting it to a case from 2020. A couple of months ago, they said. I think they said 8.
They had a major breakthrough. The CCTV camera outside a nearby house had captured the suspect walking down the street when suddenly he spots Larry and begins walking towards him. After committing the crime, he tries leaving the area only to stop, go back, and stab Larry one last time before fleeing. As mentioned earlier, this man matched the profile Deborah gave to the police, leading investigators to believe she was attacked by the same person. While looking into older cases, they also connected the same killer to another murder that happened in the area on September 23, 2020. The victim of this incident was 62-year-old Jeff Welch, another homeless man who was living in an abandoned home. On the morning of that...
This is unfortunately a very common thing. Homeless people and sex workers are disproportionately victims of violent crime because they're typically not prioritized by the police, as you can imagine. So it is unfortunately a common thing for killers to target one, the other, or both due to their shunning by society.
That day, Jeff's friend found him on the porch of his house with a stab wound on his neck. By this point, the investigators knew they were dealing with a deranged serial killer. However, just as they uncovered the connection between the 3 attacks, another tragedy unfolded. On April 12, 2023, a day after the attack on Deborah Walker, another one of his victims was found on the Wright Avenue overpass. The only thing in common with these 4 attacks was that they all involved homeless individuals, and they all happened between 1 and 4 a.m. There seemed to be no clear pattern on how the perpetrator selected his targets. This left the Little Rock community terrified to leave their homes, fearing they might become the next victim of the serial killer on the loose. After realizing the potential danger of this situation, LRPD began spreading awareness about the man who is now being referred to as the Little Rock Slasher. They also turned to the public to ask for any information they could provide on the matter, and even announced a $20,000.
Not that that's what's important, but he's not exactly slashing, is he? I mean, this is a very like nothing burger, but I feel like stabbing and slashing are like 2 very different things. But
$1,000 reward.
We also need your help. If you have seen anything suspicious,
that's an absolute Arkansan right there.
On your homes or businesses in this area, please contact us at 501.
Unfortunately, despite having CCTV footage of the suspect, the Little Rock Slasher was never caught. The case remains a mystery to this day. Or at least that's what the official reports say. While researching this case, I came across an Arkansas-based blog called the Snarky
TTS. And me turning off the redemption, turn off TTS completely? Interesting.
Media report. The authors of this blog did their own investigation into the slasher case, and what they found was shocking to say the least. Put simply, they claim to have found the true identity of the killer after talking to multiple locals and Deborah, who, according to their blog, already knew the identity of her attacker. They also uncovered many details about this supposed killer, including his criminal record, which reveals that he has already served 2 prison terms in Arkansas for felony convictions of domestic violence. Also, his history with drug abuse and how it made him very agitated and violent. The authors of this blog also claim to have contacted the alleged killer's previous landlord, who gave them this image of the perpetrator. Which begs the question, if they know so much about the slasher, including his legal name, why didn't they give this info to the police? That's where the case goes from creepy to bizarre, since, according to them, they've already given everything they had to the relevant authorities. Despite this, the Little Rock police didn't make any progression in catching the serial killer. Snarky Media also published a video of the Little Rock mayor and police chief refusing to answer questions about the case.
A few things I could surmise there. 1, the case is still ongoing because 2, they're monitoring him and want to try to catch him trying it, right? That's the positive look. The negative look is a bunch of homeless people are victims and the police don't give a shit, which is unfortunately common. I could see either of those being the scenario.
This seems to hint at something incredibly shady going on behind the scenes. That said, there's no way for me to confirm if the authors of the Snarky Media blog are telling the truth.
The police wouldn't say much if they were continuing the investigation, by the way, so I don't know if I necessarily agree. That it's sketchy behind the scenes. Because once again, if it's ongoing, they're not going to say much. Especially to a reporter. Because the last thing they need is more things being public about the identity, about what they're working on or what they have. So
no, their whole investigation is made up, and this is just some random guy who has nothing to do with the 4 attacks, and
also
it's all
a
a ploy to make
possibility.
the Little Rock Police Department look bad. Most of the information they've gathered seems to check out with what's released publicly by the authorities. The only discrepancy in their investigation is the age of the suspect. Officials believe the slasher to be young, possibly in his 20s, but the authors of this blog state that the person they found was 46 years old. Unfortunately, this is where the leads end. Whether snarky media is telling the truth or not remains uncertain. What is certain, however, is that the case remains unsolved to this day. The Little Rock slasher is likely still out there and can continue his murder spree at any moment. Thanks to Trade Coffee for sponsoring this video. I never considered myself On February 17, 1997, 21-year-old Patrick McNeil went out with his friends. He spent the evening out drinking with his friends in the Dapper Dog
but not
bar
on my
in
stream,
Manhattan.
dog.
During this time, he likely drank more than he could handle, resulting in him throwing up in the bar's bathroom before leaving in a highly unstable and disoriented state. Patrick was then seen turning left onto 90th Street, heading in the direction of the East River. This was the last time anyone would see Patrick alive. Following this night out, Patrick vanished into thin air. Despite extensive efforts, authorities found no leads or clues to his whereabouts. That is until April 7, 1997, when Patrick's lifeless body was found in the East River 50 days after his disappearance. Duty Sergeant of the NYPD's Special Investigation Division, Kevin Gannon, was called to the scene to assist with the body's recovery and examination. Kevin had been a seasoned detective for years, and by this point there was little that could surprise him. However, the circumstances surrounding Patrick's death disturbed him to his core. The more he looked into it,
Sneeg doesn't have the sponsor block extension, probably because I understand how hard it is to get a sponsor on YouTube, and the last thing I want to do is hurt other YouTubers with their sponsorships by completely skipping them. In fact, having something that circumvents it completely. I know I literally skipped it, but it showed, but it played, it showed something. You guys see it. There is a bit of exposure to that. I'm not going to just have it be completely like, what if it's a good sponsorship?
the more strange the situation became. For instance, Kevin noted that Patrick's body wasn't decomposed enough to have been floating in the river for a week, let alone the past 50 days. He also found burn marks on Patrick's body, hinting at the possibility of him being restrained prior to his death. Kevin knew that something wasn't right. Unfortunately, due to the complete lack of evidence pointing to the contrary, Patrick's death was ruled as an accident. Kevin kept thinking over this feeling for the next year before coming across a case that reinforced his suspicions even further. On February 13, 1998, another body was found in the same stretch of water. This body was later identified as 22-year-old Lawrence R. Andrews, who had gone missing on New Year's Eve after celebrating the event with his friends in Times Square. After getting on the case, it didn't take long for Kevin to notice eerie similarities between the two cases, as both bodies were found within yards of each other. Both of them were also young Caucasian males and were on track to have successful careers. They both disappeared in one of the most crowded cities in the world without any trace as well. Most importantly, Kevin also found similar oddities in both cases, where the bodies were a lot less decomposed than they should have been, and there were burn marks indicating possible restraints before their death.
What is
Lawrence's
the purpose
case prompted Kevin, and there were burn marks.
Such vivid imagery. I mean, obviously you're not going to show it, but like, why even show this? There's, what am I looking at? Why not just like include a bit longer of this, the previous image?
The bodies were a lot less decomposed than they should have been, and there were burn marks indicating possible restraints before their death. Lawrence's case prompted Kevin to look for other similar cases across the US. He enlisted the help of fellow detective Anthony Duarte and a criminal justice professor, Dr. Lee Gilbertson. Together, they began investigating these cases, and soon a chilling pattern began to emerge. In total, they found 45 different instances of young men dying under shockingly similar circumstances as Patrick and Lawrence. Most of them went out for a night of drinking, became more intoxicated than usual, disappeared shortly after, and were later found dead in some body of water. Almost all of them were also Caucasian and on track to have a high-paying career like engineering after college. Most disturbingly, however, they also found graffiti of smiley faces near the bodies of at least a dozen different victims. This led to the 3 investigators creating the smiley face murder theory. According to this theory, these 45 and possibly many other deaths from the 1990s to 2010s weren't accidents in the slightest. Instead, they were murders committed by a single deranged person or an organized group of serial killers.
Very femme fatale.
This is the only logical explanation they could find to justify the many.
Yeah, I was about to say, doesn't The Mentalist have a killer in the show that's something to do with smiles?
Oddities and similarities in these incidents. That said, while this theory makes complete sense to some people, others aren't convinced one bit. Criminal profiler Pat Brown, for instance, called this theory ludicrous. She believes that the idea of connecting smiley faces, one of the most common graffiti symbols, with murders is just absurd, stating,
"That's valid.
It's not an unusual symbol. If you look in any area 5 miles square, I bet you could find a smiley face." The FBI also completely denied this theory in a statement, reading, "The FBI has reviewed the information about the victims provided by 2 retired police detectives who have dubbed these incidents the smiley face murders and interviewed an individual who provided information to the detectives. To date, we have not developed any evidence to support links between these tragic deaths or any evidence substantiating the theory that these deaths are the work of a serial killer or killers. The vast majority of these instances appear to be alcohol-related drowning."
Yeah, I mean, fair. Yeah, very fair. My 2 initial thoughts are: 1, yes, smiley faces are common graffiti. 2, throwing bodies in the water is also a very common body disposal method by killers. So,
just got home from work and found Crinkle had arrived. Hooray, he's very solid. What are we doing?
The burn marks, though? The burn marks on 2 victims. I don't think they said the other ones had the same.
However, despite these setbacks, the 3 men have stuck with their theory. They're still working on finding evidence to back their observations. That said, if their hunch is correct, it would mean one of the most wicked serial killers in American history is still at large today. I-70 killer. Robin Fuldauer was a 26-year-old Indiana University graduate who was working at an Indianapolis Payless shoe source store near I-70 in 1992.
Okay, it's Indianapolis is I-70, not St. Louis is I-70.
However, just as she was getting ready to relax at home, the employee who was supposed to man the counter called in sick. Left with no other options, her manager called Robin and told her to cover the shift instead.
Yeah,
Robin wasn't very happy about this emergency shift change, but she
a little bit
reluctantly
too. What does
agreed,
I-70
arriving in
mean?
the
It's
store
a major
at 10 a.m.
highway.
and starting her shift as usual. Unfortunately, her day was about to get a whole lot worse. Everything seemed normal until 2 p.m. when the manager called the store for a routine check. To her surprise, Robin wasn't picking up the phone. She kept trying for a few minutes before giving up and calling the Speedway gas station neighboring the shoe store. One of the gas station employees, a friend of Robin's, went to the Payless store to see if she was doing okay. However, what she found inside left her confused. The store was in slight disarray and some of the shoes were missing from the shelves. The cash register was also open and there was no money in it. Most concerning of all, there were no signs of Robin anywhere.
It's not.
Her friend called out Robin's name.
I mean, I guess if they're called the I-70 killer, they could go down I-70. So theoretically, there could be a victim somewhere within the St. Louis region.
Hoping she was just in the back and would respond. But when she didn't hear anything from Robin after minutes of standing in the store, she became worried and called the police at around 2:20 p.m. The cops arrived within minutes and began searching the store for clues on Robin's whereabouts. And it wasn't long before they made a devastating discovery. They found Robin lying in the store's back office, covered in blood. It was already too late. During questioning, an employee from the store across the street claimed to have seen a strange man
think about if
loitering
she
around the shoe
looked
store
before
a
that,
couple hours earlier.
she might have saved
According
her.
to this employee, the man sat on the curb for about a half hour, rifling through his bag and staring at the Payless store. They then saw the same man a few minutes later trying to hitch a ride back to Interstate 465, which was about a quarter mile from the store's location. Unfortunately, they were too far away to get a good look at the man's face. Given the money stolen from the register, and without any other leads, investigators filed this as nothing more than a robbery gone wrong. However, they couldn't have been more wrong, because just 3 days later, something similarly tragic happened to 23-year-old Patricia Smith and 32-year-old Patricia Makers. The two were working at a bridal shop in Wichita along I-70. The incident happened a little past their usual closing time as they were waiting for a customer who had a pickup. When they saw a man approaching the store, they assumed that it was the customer. However, this man drew a gun on the two after entering the store, took them to the back, and executed both with shots to the back of their heads.
Jeez.
As the killer was leaving the store, he crossed paths with the actual customer the girls were waiting for. Without hesitation, he aimed his gun at the man and ordered him to head to the back of the store. But the customer defied his command and ran, narrowly escaping with his life. He later helped the police draw a sketch of the killer. Unfortunately, the sketch didn't provide much of a breakthrough. By this point, the authorities were certain they were dealing with a serial killer, but despite their efforts, the killer's spree continued. By May 7th, he had taken 3 more victims in small, low-traffic stores along the I-70 highway. By the time investigators managed to compile a few more sketches, the I-70 killer stopped his quest and went into hiding. That is until 1993, when he claimed 3 more victims along I-35 in Texas. He tried to hide his identity by changing his weapon, but the investigators were quick to notice the similarities. One of his victims, Vicky Webb, also managed to miraculously survive after getting shot in the neck. If he were ever caught, Vicky's testimony would have been crucial in bringing him to justice. Though, the I-70 killer was never found, and the case went cold for nearly 3 decades. However, then, in 2021, investigators released CCTV footage of a murder that happened in 2001. The suspect in this footage looks strikingly similar to the I-70 killer's sketches, potentially giving authorities the lead they need to finally catch him. It's likely only a matter of time before he runs out of places to hide and is captured. But for now, he's still out there, evading police and leaving the case unresolved. We can only hope he doesn't take any more victims in the meantime.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, that's only a little paranoid inducing. Fun. Jeez. Interesting. Some old cases, some a little too recent for my liking cases. On to the next one. Hey, chill. Chill. We're going to watch a video from Midwest Crime. Shout out. When they realized the severed head was real. Interesting title. Hard for me to have not clicked on.
Hey, is this blood? Could possibly be blood.
Is this blood?
Who did that? You got blood on your hands here. Nobody's armed?
Nobody's armed.
You sure?
Taylor Shabusiness, a 25-year-old.
Pause. Her last name is Shabusiness. And her brother Nunya. My brother Nunya Shabusiness.
Year-old woman pretending to be insane to
That's
cover up one of the most
crazy,
disturbing
bro.
crimes Wisconsin has ever seen. A brutal murder followed by a gruesome act of mutilation.
She legally changed it? Oh, so that's not like a surname. That's not like her family name. She changed her last name to Shabusiness? That even allowed?
That left an entire community horrified.
I don't think you can do that, can you?
It all began on February 23rd, 2022, in a quiet neighborhood on Stony Brook Lane in Green Bay. A mother walked into her basement and found her son's head in a bucket.
Damn.
Seconds later, a chilling 911 call shattered the silence.
Brown County Public Safety, how may I help you?
I have no clue what's happening with my girl. Swears that she's found her severed head of her son in the basement.
Did you go down there?
I went down. I can't tell what it is. It's part of my language. I'm kind of a little freaked out.
Okay. Did she just wake up and say that?
Yeah.
And whose head is it?
She's claiming it's her son.
How old is her son?
24, 25.
Has he been missing, or?
No, yeah, he was here yesterday with some chick, and then now all of a sudden nobody's here, and she came up to use the restroom a couple times, and she keeps calling and calling. Now she's saying that she hears the phone down there too.
Okay. Is she with you right now?
Yes, yeah, she's upstairs. She's a little freaked out, and I don't know what to do.
Okay. All right. Stay on the line.
If she won't look again, I don't know what the hell, man.
Do you think she's hallucinating, or do you think that...
Can I end stream? Yeah, man. What's up? What for? Just curious. Sneeg responding to a message his mods deleted. Well, they deleted it before I could even say anything. Did they time him out just for like a second? Or did they, like, is he even able to type right now? Just delete? So he can type. I mean, we can wait. If he wants to explain why he wants me to end stream, I am curious. I mean, like, if I'm doing something wrong. We just gonna like nod or he's gone. We lost him.
I don't think so. I went down and there's something in the bucket.
07.
I can't, I don't know, man. She's a little freaked out and kind of freaking me out.
Can I talk to her?
Yes, you can.
Hi, Tara. So can you tell me what's going on?
Pretty positive my son's head is in a bucket, a gallon bucket in my basement.
What makes you think that?
Because I looked in the bucket.
And what did you see?
Exactly what I told you.
Okay. Where's the rest of the body at?
How else do you describe that?
It couldn't be like a fake head or something?
I'm not touching it. I'm not looking at it again.
Okay. All right,
That's
ma'am.
valid.
Just go ahead and wait for the officers, okay?
Our coverage is made possible by Morgan & Morgan. If you...
What is happening? That was so abrupt. Please refrain.
Did you both see this?
I opened the towel, I picked up the towel and dropped it because I don't know what it is, man. I have bad vision, and she's like, "Is that what I think it is?" I don't know. What?
Do you want to just stay with those two? I'll just go see what.
Yeah. So,
Where's it at?
Go right there. Look right. There's a bucket with a towel on it. I went down there because I heard the door.
Just keep an eye on those two.
The deputy can't believe what he's seeing, still trying to process the horror.
Dude, it is. Jeez. Oh. There's nobody. Let's just. Okay. I'm gonna ask him quick. Hold on. Just.
Both officers freeze, still in shock, struggling to believe there's an actual human head in that bucket.
That's real, right? That's real, dog. Alcohol, I got 4 Ed 1 to 82 Sam. That's real, dog. I'm not. If we could get more units here sooner rather than later, that'd be appreciated. We've got quite a bit of blood down here, and I want to clear this rest of this house. We've got 2 people in the house for sure.
The victim was identified as 24-year-old Shad Therian. He was the ex-boyfriend, or maybe just a former lover, of Taylor Shabiznis, someone she had known for years. His body had been brutally dismembered, pieces scattered, cut apart with kitchen knives. Investigators quickly traced a possible location for Shabiznis, a home on Eastman Avenue. They also flagged a van connected to her name.
So sorry, Hannah was asking me about stuff. Damn, bro. The genuine disbelief of that police officer is crazy.
Hmm?
Fucking octopus thing on the ceiling. Hey. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know how to react to it either. I think it's just you.
Is this blood?
You know.
Does this look like blood to you?
I think a lot of police see a lot of things, so they're a bit used
bloody
to something.
Footprints. You see this right here?
So, seeing a police officer genuinely rattled is an interesting sight.
Hey, who did that?
Who did what?
Hi, Taylor. How's it going? Officer Russell with the Green Bay Police Department. Just make sure you ain't got nothing on you here. With Taylor.
Contact with Taylor.
Taylor, you have a warrant for your arrest. Just put your hands behind your back quick.
Anybody else in your apartment?
You got blood on your hands here too.
No, on your hands.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to.
What apartment here?
What apartment are you in?
Do we have Adam 3 come up? Hey, Custom, get up here.
Not to be insensitive, but imagine this as a commercial for hyper-realistic cakes. I'd be so down. Anyway, 15 moths.
What? No. I don't. No, don't say that. Did they say why they thought it was this person? Did I miss that when I had that phone call? It's his ex? That makes sense.
Which apartment? One, there's what they came back to.
I missed the connection. I was just wondering if I had just not heard it or if they ever said it. So thank you. Sorry for missing it. I don't mean to be like that React streamer that pays no attention. My wife calls and I answer though.
Watch this window right here. Watch this window right here. Gun point.
Damn, that gun click was crispy.
Go in here. Go in here. Come to the back of the apartment. That's where we are. You, come over here. 2 more will be fine. if 84 is here.
Hands up! Hands up! Hands up!
They have contact with the male.
Hands up! Walk out towards me.
Have a seat.
Have a seat. Hold the traffic. Come out towards me. Get on the ground.
Who else is in the apartment? Be straight up.
Tomes.
Tomes? Who else? Just Tomes? Is he armed? Nobody's armed?
Nobody's armed.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Pretty smug look by her.
Green Mountain Police! If anybody's in here, announce yourself now!
Go ahead. Negative.
This is still the decapitated head.
Taylor
yeah.
was taken into custody for interrogation to explain the reason behind this brutal murder. She kept denying the allegations, but what she didn't realize was that this case was about to explode nationwide, all in the name of justice for Shad Therian.
I hate this outfit. Never in my life.
That is goofy.
Well,
that is a goofy ass outfit. I can't help but agree. I don't think she's in a situation to be critical though. They straight up got her in the fucking Among Us outfit.
He's my ex.
She's about to go in the fucking back rooms, dude. What the hell is
they found
that?
kind of disturbing stuff at the house there.
Like, what is that?
Yeah. A lot of blood. Basically Shad's head. Yeah. And then, so we know you were there at one point.
Yeah.
With Shad.
The evidence they have outside of where she was at the time. Ex-lover, level of motivation there. Last person to be seen with her. That's good enough. Also, when they approached her building, they saw blood on the ground. And when she came out, that's enough for a detainment. They already had a warrant for her arrest. And then when they went to detain her, there was blood on her hands. So, there was kind of enough to already go, and then they found more as they approached. So it's like,
But we also know you left. Now that van, is that your van?
No, that's my neighbor's.
Your neighbor's van.
Oh, the guy I was staying at.
Okay. So this, where did you go? Which place where did the police get you? Was that on Eastman Avenue? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that where you live?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm staying there right
Okay. Is that your apartment?
now. No,
No. Whose apartment is it?
that man.
And who is that man?
Scott Tom.
I'm surprised she's not
Scott?
pleading Shafith.
Okay. So,
sorry.
That's his van.
Yes.
Okay. And so, did you leave from Shad's house and go to Scott's house sometime?
My fault.
Today?
Yeah.
Well, they found part of Shad at his house, his mom's house. Found his head. Where's the rest of his body?
It's there. It's at his house.
Is it in the house?
It's at his house.
Can you tell me what happened?
It's a good question because I blacked out during that time.
So you think the body is still there?
So true.
See why not? Unless it's just up and moving.
Free to go. I don't remember.
Where do you think the body would be?
I was right there by the bed.
By the bed, you think?
Yeah, I was cuddling it by the bed.
You were what?
Cuddling it?
Cuddling it by the bed.
You were cuddling the body with it by the bed? Oh, okay. Was it just you and Shad down in the basement?
Yeah.
Was anybody else down at any point in time? When do you think you went to Shad's house?
I think she's making that up.
What was it like?
Because why would they ask her about the rest of the body if it was right
Did
there?
you
They
see it
probably
the
would have
whole
already
time?
seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So
You start to remember now what happened with Shad?
probably lying for shock for insanity plea.
There was this chain thing, right? Yeah, like I was playing around with it.
Okay.
And like we were smoking the right? I'm terrible at explaining things, so
Do they just censor
let's see
marijuana?
here. And then here comes the chain, right? And then he put it around his neck. Well, we were like playing around and then I don't know, I was tugging on it and then.
So you were smoking, what would that be?
Ice. Ice.
Ice?
Ice.
Have you taken any other drugs tonight?
No, this is still from 2 days ago. I know my eyes are crazy.
Were you smoking the ice?
Yeah.
And how? On a pipe or someplace else?
The one that's on the counter, or on the table. I left the baggie there.
You did?
I was gonna eat ads, but I got handed fettuccine.
But where exactly? In Eastman or Story?
At the...
Good trade.
At Shad's.
At Shad's. Okay. And you say, where was this place? Where would it be? In the basement or on the first floor, second floor?
Basement.
In the basement. And it was ice and it was a plastic, basically a window bag, type of little small plastic bag.
That's really good.
And so there was a chain. You know what kind of chain?
Is she trying to say that she just took a chain around his neck and yanked his head
What would
off?
that be again, please?
I think it's on a dresser.
On a dresser?
Is it? Oh, is it on a dresser? I don't know.
I don't know either. I haven't been there.
It's just
That would
weird.
take an absurd amount of strength.
But what happened?
Yeah, it's short. It was real short.
What did you see?
I don't even know anymore. Like, it was weird. I was riding him like a donkey, okay? And then, like, I think so. I think that's what was happening. I was just, like, pulling and then, like...
That's crazy.
I don't know.
Were, you two being intimate, having sex?
It was getting there.
It was getting there, okay.
What does riding him like a donkey mean? If that...
Yeah, it was. And then, I just didn't stop. I don't know why. I didn't stop.
You guys done something like this in the past?
Not like that.
Do you use manual strangulation during sex at all? Is Shad like that?
A manual strangulation? Yes.
He likes strangulation?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, he does. Yeah, I do.
And you do too, or just him?
Both of us.
And what would you guys like to do? Is there a certain role playing that you did with Chad? Or was it just some sort of strangulation? How would you guys...
She claiming she was just like...
Basically have sex.
Having sex and then just brutally killed him, like that South Park episode?
Strangle the other person.
I like doing that a lot.
Alright, so you like being strangled, like having your airway, or do you like doing it to somebody else?
I like doing it to somebody else.
Does Shad like to be strangled during sex?
I think so.
Have you done it before with him?
Yeah, he does.
So what you're telling me, Miss, is that you're single,
you smoke some ice.
J.
Do you take any prescription medications?
No.
Do you have any mental health issues we should be aware of?
Bad chatter.
I don't know yet. I think I'm
Have you been diagnosed with anything officially?
Stop it.
Because I know that Shad has got some mental health issues. That's according to his mother. Since high school?
Yeah.
So then you guys were boyfriend, girlfriend at one point? For how long?
For like 2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
So when did you start seeing them again? Recently? Please do not make jokes at the expense of victims of crimes that are actually real.
So you always
Please, I'm begging you.
So you and Shad went back to Shad's mom's
Or we will
house.
have to stop doing true crime.
How'd you get in? Did you see, was anybody home?
The doors unlocked. We went in.
What time do you think this was? Was anybody home? Did you encounter anybody?
Tara?
Tara?
Is that the mom's name?
Yes.
The head.
And then,
I can't believe I left the head though.
what did you do with the body?
The body's there.
So were you going to take the head somewhere?
I like that.
You liked it?
Well, you're gonna have fun trying to look for all the organs, but yeah, they're all dismembered. Yeah.
So you dismembered the body too?
Yeah.
And what did you do with the body parts? Basement, upstairs, downstairs?
Absolutely in the basement. I was gonna bring them with them. And then, I know I forgot the head.
Once again, I think she's just bullshitting because the police would not be asking her this stuff if it was like also there. Also, the mom and dad of the mom didn't say they saw a body. They said they saw something in a bucket. I feel like if it was right there, they would have seen it. So
yeah, it's in the van. It's in the van.
I think she's just trying to stack up this insanity plea.
A foot maybe.
The what?
I think it's a foot.
A foot in the van?
A leg maybe. I don't know. I'm like, I'm gonna bring it all, and then I'm like, man, this is messy. So then I just left it. I got lazy.
Okay.
I got lazy, and that's what I get. So I'm like.
That's so true.
Maybe a foot or a leg in the van.
Yeah,
What'd you do with the head?
I forgot that was in the van, so yeah.
What'd you do with the head?
The head, I put it in that bucket, that black bucket.
She said she hid the parts. No, she didn't. She said that it was in the basement. She's saying both things. She said the body was intact by the bed. Now she said that it was in pieces in the basement. She said she also hid it or got rid of it. She took a foot in the van. Hidden. If you don't think that the police were searching, have been searching that house by the time they picked her up, you'd be silly.
Black bucket?
With the blanket on top.
Okay.
I should have it with me.
And then where'd you leave it?
Leave the head? The head's still in the bucket. It's right
It's
by
possible that they
by the stairs.
Already have all this stuff and they're trying to get her to lie, to be fair.
Knives.
Knives? Just more than one knife? Where'd you get those from?
Kitchen. So I couldn't find mine and I wasn't sharp enough.
They weren't sharp?
No. It was alright. Bread knife works good.
Bread knife?
That's a lot of work.
Bread knife works good, yeah.
Really?
I had to use what I had to use, so like, yeah.
That's a
I got
lot
lazy last
of
night,
strength.
so.
Where would these knives be now?
They're in with all the organs and all the body parts.
And where was that?
In the black bag. It's in the black bag or
in the basement?
It's in the basement. They're all in the basement. I never left the basement. I just went up the stairs.
So all the body parts and knives will be in a black bag. So you, at one point, did you bring these bags with you? Or were they already there?
I was gonna, but I got lazy. And
Right, you're gonna bring them with you when you left. But were the bags there?
I was gonna hide
when you
evidence. I didn't
used them,
feel like
or did
it.
you bring them with you with Shad? Or did you just find them there?
They were there. I found them there, and I emptied them out. I put them in there, and I was gonna bring it, and I'm just like, got paranoid, and then I got lazy. And I
Cutting someone up with a bread knife is insane. I would be shocked if that's true.
I think it was a dope.
Did you want Shad to be dead?
No, it was.
I'd be shocked if she actually used a bread knife for this.
It kind of threw me off guard, and it was just,
Given the absurd amount of strength it takes to even, like, she would have had to cut through bone. That doesn't, I don't think a bread knife's gonna get that done. All I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That would be absurd amounts of strength, which could be achieved through in a drug-induced state like she was. But also, like, she said multiple knives, but then she kind of narrowed in on bread knife. So, like, it's difficult to cut through bone, guys. Like, it's not an easy thing to do. You can look into all the science of that yourself. I don't want to be put on a list. But it's also not like I didn't discuss that within my criminology courses. It's a monumental effort. It's a monumental effort.
Open place, that you went in the basement, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty open.
And so, where did you get the chain?
I don't know. He pulled it out of his pocket.
He pulled it out. What'd you guys do with them?
We put them around her necks.
You did. Okay. And then what were you doing while they were around their necks?
I was strangling them.
You were strangling him?
Yeah. I was having fun with them, and then
So when did you realize that Shad was not alive anymore?
His face turned purple.
Okay.
He was coughing up blood, and he was pissing himself.
Yeah, that would do it.
His face was all purple.
I still didn't stop. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then
So his blood was coming out of his
I
mouth
kept on
too?
feeling his heartbeat. Hearing his heartbeat.
I'm sorry?
Hearing his heartbeat. Sorry.
So she's literally recollecting it in front of them. That's so fucked.
No.
So,
I've been trying to do that.
did you figure he was dead then?
Yeah.
And what did you do?
Played with him a little bit.
Did you try to call his mom or dad or anybody else in the house? Did you try calling an ambulance? Why not? You wanted him? You wanted him to die, or he did? I'm trying to understand.
I didn't want him to die, actually.
But he did.
He's my buddy, but like
Keep in mind, chat, she said she did not remember because she blacked out, by the way. Who wants to guess what's gonna play out in court?
Happen again, but then
history.
Did you feel a need to try to help him?
I don't know why. It happened so fast.
I also remember every
So then after
detail
you
about
realized
when I
he was
pass out and don't remember
no
anything.
longer, he was dead. His face was purple. He said his blood's going out of his mouth.
The thing that happens in what is called a blackout, you just remember all of it so vividly.
You said play with him. What do you mean?
Play with his.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I put him up over the bed, and then
So then you had sex with him.
Yes. And I had a dildo that I took out.
Okay.
And I played with him too.
What'd you do with the dildo?
And I just cuddled him and I hugged him.
What'd you do with the dildo?
I put it in his mouth, put it in his ass.
Okay. So you cuddled his body, and then what did you decide to do?
We never had sex, but we were getting there. I was just choking him.
I understand that, but you said that you played with his
Yes.
after he was dead.
Oh yeah.
Was it erect?
It was half. It was half.
Did you?
Even.
What did you do with this?
I cut it off.
So you cleaned his head in the shower and then dumped the bucket.
I should have cleaned his head in the shower. I should have just polished it up, but I like that.
And did you tell him what happened or no? You tell him what happened in Chad?
Yeah, he's got body parts in his hand, so he's got to get that out.
Yeah, we'll get
I forgot about that. I've been off of it right now. I blame the drugs.
Alright. I want to look into a couple other things and we'll be with you, and if you need anything, you knock on the door.
I wonder how much of this is actually true.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. Everything okay?
I mean, obviously the decapitation is, but it's hard to take any of this as real with
Was it light out or
the
something?
state she's in and the insanity plea she takes.
I seen it.
You could see light?
I should see the light.
So you were playing with him when it was light out?
Yep.
How long did it take it for him to die?
3 to 5 minutes, maybe.
But before you chain went around his neck, were you and Chad like kissing?
That's a lie. Asphyxiation. It takes a very long time to manually choke somebody. Like, unless they just completely let it happen. And like, you know, maybe it's true. I could see with like being under inebriated and stuff like that, it could be like you'd be accidentally more willing, but
No,
it's not like movies. People don't pass out within
All of a
5
sudden,
seconds.
The chain went around his neck.
It's minutes.
How come? I'm just trying to.
Also, if they're passed out for longer than a couple of seconds, they're basically dead because oxygen is gone.
Yeah, what am I gonna do it anyway?
Besides the point.
And you're claiming it was his idea? With the chain?
Obviously mine. No, it was his idea. It was all him.
You made the comment, you said that when you were choking him, he was coughing up blood, you kind of were like, well, I've gone this far, I'm just going to keep going. Did you realize that by continuing that may kill him?
Oh, yeah, because I felt bad because I'm like, he's going to be wheezing after this. I'm like, might as well just kill him.
Okay. So you realize that by continuing that you may actually kill him then?
He was, I swear to God, he was telling me, he's just like, just do it. So I'm like, and I did it.
Okay. And you also said that you enjoyed it, right?
Casually admits to third-degree murder.
Alright. What'd you enjoy about that?
Just
Was it kind of thrilling, a rush, exciting? What was the feeling that you got out of it?
That's all it is. I don't know.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand what you were feeling. You're saying that you were expecting joy. You know, did it make you happy? Was it just kind of exciting, like opening Christmas presents, or?
I don't know. Like this is the thing that I have. Like I've always had. You know, like you ever love something so much that you kill it. Like it happens to me. That's the feeling that I have. I love something so much that I kill it. Like I cuddle it so much and then I kill it. That's what happens to me.
Oh.
So
All right, so he dies. He's dead. What about the rest of his body?
I didn't even take it.
Great segue, detective. Good work.
The rest of his body, I don't even know what it is. It's in a big blue container, you know.
Just
It's big
a container?
It's like a big Tupperware, but it's not.
Big blue container, but also next to the bed, but also hidden throughout the house, but also partially in the car, but also she doesn't know.
So that's where the body parts are in? Or I thought they're in a black bag.
Yep.
They are.
Contradicted.
They're scattered around.
Yep.
The one with the rest of his
real shit.
So did that take all day? Did you?
I was getting pissed off
yeah.
at the dismemberment.
But also she blacked out and remembers none of this. Also, she's recalling all of it.
I was nodding out.
She's recalling 3 different variations of it, all at the same time in no particular order.
I should have took drugs. I probably would have helped, but I didn't.
So, but it took a while.
The lawyer's gonna be
cut
pissed.
the rest of the body up.
It's all messed up too.
So, I'm just trying to, so I understand too. So you said were you cutting and then you kind of nod off, kind of wake up and start cutting again?
Yeah.
So it took you a little while to cut the body apart. There were times where you went and napped or whatever. It wasn't, you didn't work nonstop to dismember his body, right?
I mean, I probably did. Well, in my sleep, I do things in my sleep.
You do things in your sleep?
But yeah, but like.
And I remember it completely.
Right there.
Apparently.
Did anybody ever come downstairs at all?
Tara came. She came downstairs and then with the kitty cat, and then she set the kitty cat down, and then what's up with the kitty cat, and then the kitty cat was walking around, and I threw the kitty cat. And
Did you talk to her?
I'm like, hey Tara. I don't know, it was just weird. Cause like it was an open space, you know, like there was no closed door, and like it was weird.
She think she saw anything?
I have no idea.
Well, you knew that you didn't want to call the police or an ambulance.
What an interview.
Actually, I thought about it. And then I was getting angry at myself. Very angry at myself because I didn't have the proper tools. Not having that.
Hey, can you ever see a second? I gotta ask you a question.
After a few hours, investigators brought Taylor in for a second interview, this time pressing for specifics. They needed to know exactly how she dismembered the body.
I just want to kind of clarify some things quick. Detective Groff will be in shortly. Probably, I believe he's going to step in. It won't take long. So
sucks. I mean,
so
same question. Why?
No, when I was dismembering the body, there was. I mean, I'm going like this with a knife, so there's blood. Whatever. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Can we talk a few minutes again?
Yeah.
Out at the house right now, there's, you know what a medical examiner is? They're the ones that kind of like take care of people that died and see how they died. And so, you know, they have a bunch of questions for us that we really can't answer. And the biggest questions that they have is exactly how did you dismember Shad?
Yeah, me too, girl. What the hell?
But did you know, cut arms, or I mean, was it just internal organs, or?
So you started on the head, right?
Yeah, and then I don't know where I went from there. I just went
crazy. Did you cut it? Where did you remove his arms? Yeah. Okay, can you show me where you would cut on the arms?
I don't know, but also I'll show you and tell you exactly what I did and when.
Right at the elbows. Was this part of the arm left on?
You gotta go in that blue bed.
Okay, look.
Yeah.
But you know that you cut off at the elbows?
Yeah.
Okay, you cut both arms off at the elbows?
I would hope so. Because like I was saying, that dismemberment process I did was like really messed up because like I was nodding out. And then I was like sawing it off.
Did his
Did
legs?
you use just the knives?
Just the knives, though, like.
I don't know, but also I know, but also I'm not sure.
Did you dismember his legs at all? Where would you have done the legs?
I think there's one leg that's actually intact.
Okay.
And then, maybe.
Excuse me. Yawning.
I have no idea.
And where was his body located when you did this dismembering? Was it in one spot?
Yeah.
Or?
It was all in the same spot.
And where's that again?
Blue tub.
So the body was in the blue tub as you were?
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible that they have the body already and they're talking to her to try to get her to. I mean, once again, they're just gathering evidence. I mean, she's probably giving them plenty to go off of in terms of like recollection, in terms of dismemberments and where the dismemberments occurred with what and in what spot. Even her saying one of the legs might still be there is helpful because it just makes it more obvious she did it if she knows every detail about the dismemberment.
Cutting it up? Yeah. Okay, then did you empty the tub at points, or, you know what I mean?
Was there a bed down there, or just a mattress, or?
There was a mattress that was laid down. There should be blood on the sheets.
But when you took off his head, was he lying on a mattress, or was he someplace else?
I had his head hanging off,
The mattress.
and then I was.
But was the bucket underneath his head?
Yeah.
So it was high enough?
I don't know. It just dropped in there.
What's that?
It just dropped in there after I got the bone.
But it was high enough that it could stand up underneath his body, you know what I mean? So let's say the body, this is the bed.
Not a butter knife, a bread knife.
Able to fit underneath there.
Bread knives have grooves in it to cut through the bread better.
There? Or would it have to be on its side or something?
Kind of sharp points like a spike trap in a game.
On the edge of the bed.
But the in-between has like a
floor or on the
curve.
bed itself?
On the floor.
And what do you think should happen if somebody does something like this to somebody else?
I don't know. They obviously get prison time. I don't know. A whole lot. Like, I don't know.
This girl's
out of
fucking
random,
dead.
Think it was the right thing to do?
No, I did it anyway.
Did you remove any other, you said you had the heart and the liver, how about the lungs? Did you remove all that from the chest cavity? Or did you leave them in there? Or?
It could be in there,
Do you remember? Or?
They're all in.
This was Wisconsin though, wasn't it? I don't think Wisconsin has death penalty.
They're all in separate bags, like Walmart bags. And then you'll find them.
You realize that you're probably going to jail after this when we're done.
I'm so sorry.
Tell them what it is, and I don't like to screw around with anybody. So.
Just had the same burp twice in a row. That was wild.
Forthcoming with us, so we're going to be forthcoming with you. Even though we appreciate it.
I mean, like if somebody kills somebody and dismembers them, do you kind of think that person probably should go to jail? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, like, I don't even know. Like, I'm like, God.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You need something? Like I said, knock on the door.
Taylor Shabiznes faced a 5-day trial on 3 charges: first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault. Her attorney tried to exclude some of the evidence, arguing it portrayed her as the worst killer in human history. But nothing could prepare the court for what was about to unfold. At one point, Shabiznes violently attacked her own attorney during a hearing. It was her second assault on legal counsel, prompting multiple public defenders to withdraw. After firing her last appellate attorney over a no-merit report,
I forgot about this.
The Wisconsin State Public Defender's
realize
Office
that was this
refused to
case.
appoint another. Shabiznes never denied the allegations and chose not to testify. Though she entered a plea of not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect, the jury ultimately found her mentally competent. She was convicted on all counts and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For exclusive clips and...
I can't say I'm shocked. Cannot say I'm shocked. Get owned. Fucking bozo. Absolutely. Oh, God. Oh, God. I clicked a Fern video. I forgot I clicked on a Fern video and now why do they do this, man? Why is it like this? Can I just watch the video in a normal aspect ratio? I hate that they do this. Like, why, man? This aspect ratio is so fucking awkward looking. Can we not? Like, what do I even do? There's nothing. I can't. We're going to watch a Fern video called The Hunt for America's Smartest Killer. I don't know how to, yeah. Can I zoom? I don't think that's going to fix the. Oh my God, Peter Griffin's watching. Me. I don't think that's going to make this better. Oh, maybe. Actually, what percentage did we put this at? 150 kind of made this easier. I mean, it's still like whatever. We're going to watch this video.
My motive for doing what I am going to do is simply personal revenge. I do not expect to accomplish anything by it. Lincoln, Montana, 1996. This cabin is the chosen home of Theodore J. Kaczynski, more commonly known as the Unabomber. He's long been feared as America's smartest criminal, a serial bomber who's killed and wounded targets across the country with no clear connection. For 17 years, he's eluded the FBI. It's the largest, most expensive manhunt in the Bureau's history. He's the evil genius they simply can't catch. Likely history's most intellectual serial killer.
Well, I mean,
he's terrorized the nation, instilling fear in Americans about opening their mail and getting on planes.
I didn't know that this was the case, but we did catch him.
And he did it all from his cabin. Here is where he built his bombs, where he wrote his manifesto, and where he evaded capture for nearly 2 decades.
That's interesting.
It's where he turned from off-the-grid recluse to world-famous murderer. This cabin contains all the evidence the FBI will need to convict him. It's located deep in the Montana wilderness. Back in 1969, Ted moved here from California, where he left behind a shining career as a math professor at UC Berkeley. He wanted to get closer to nature and far, far away from everyone who pisses him off, which is most people. He built this cabin with his brother, back when Ted still talked to him. It's got no electricity, no plumbing, just a wood stove, a bed, and a whole lot of books. Right now, Ted is building another bomb. They're meticulously crafted, and he's continuously improving his technique. Every year, they become more lethal. In fact, he's got another one under his bed, wrapped and ready to go. But he won't get a chance to send it, because despite his intellect, he made some pretty dumb mistakes.
So clean. I have a bad feeling this video will not make any money on my end, but that's okay.
This video is largely based on these 2 books. Links are in the description.
Goated references.
We attribute the social and psychological problems of modern society to the fact that society requires people to live under conditions radically different from those under which the human race evolved. Born in 1942, Ted grows up in a pretty average family in the suburbs of Chicago. They're working-class Polish Americans. His parents are politically progressive, bookish and intellectual, and really into the outdoors. They're strict but loving. At least, that's how they remember it. It becomes obvious at a young age that Ted is exceptionally gifted, so his parents push him to succeed. He skips 2 grades and easily aces every class.
Damn.
He's a pretty normal kid for someone with an IQ of 168. Sure, Ted is quiet, shy around girls, and arrogant, but he has a core circle of friends and plenty of hobbies.
Skip 2 grades, it's kind of wild.
Like his parents and brother, he loves playing music, reading, and camping. People like Ted. They'll later remember him as a sensitive, respectful kid. All that starts to change when Ted enrolls at Harvard University at just 16 years old. Like many college freshmen, Ted struggles to adjust.
That's crazy.
Here, he no longer feels like the smartest person in every room. And as a working-class kid thrown into the world of America's elite, he's a fish out of water. Other students and even faculty mock his shabby clothes and blue-collar background. He's deeply bothered by their snobbery, pain that will follow him through life.
Tap, tap.
Ted's also just really young, younger than almost everyone else on campus. As an adult, Ted will write his mother furious letters about this. He demands apologies for pushing him out of the house before he was ready. Ted becomes depressed, and his grades suffer. His classmates describe him as a total loner, moody, rude, and virtually mute. He's that guy on the dorm floor who only leaves his room to go to class, who ignores everyone else, who slams doors. There's a stench of rotting food wafting from his room. Ted doesn't know it yet, but his withdrawn and alienated demeanor has caught the eye of a psychology professor. Dr. Henry A. Murray is very famous, with an on-campus research center named after him. He's basically a god in the social sciences. Murray is looking out for particular types of students, those who will make excellent guinea pigs for an experiment. His final, most elaborate experiment, the capstone of a long and illustrious career. It also happens to be a CIA-funded project designed to cause extreme distress and break down the subject's sense of self.
Oh boy. I'm sure it went well for him.
Clearly, we are in a position to do a great deal of damage, and it does appear that the FBI is not going to catch us anytime soon. The FBI is a joke. It's the 1970s in San Francisco. The city is a hotbed of anti-government activity. There's outrage over the Vietnam War. Protest bombings are a regular occurrence. Explosions happen every week up through the mid-80s. The FBI dubs it the Belfast of North America. Radical far-left groups like the Weather Underground and the Symbionese Liberation Army claim credit for many of the bombings. So most of the cases are pretty straightforward in terms of understanding motive and perpetrator. But amidst all of this, the FBI's San Francisco bomb squad makes a shocking discovery. 12 mysterious, similarly built bombs can be linked to one elusive killer or group.
Yeah, so this is an interesting, fun part. Well, not fun, but an interesting part about bombers is there's many a way to construct a bomb. Don't look these up. But essentially, the bombers create a method and sort of stick to that method or have a signature or have like a style. So bomb squads can essentially gather up debris from explosions and reconstruct bombs based off of the debris grabbed, and sort of see these patterns, which is essentially what he's saying here. I don't know if he'll get into that more, but he's basically saying that they realized that some of these bombs had a pattern to them that made it seem more like it was one person that did that. An MO? No, an MO is more of a reason to do it. You're thinking more of like a style. It's like their signature. Like how a serial killer likes to grab a trophy. Bombers like to make their bombs a specific way or with a specific thing within it, or a specific method in which it's enacted. Yeah, it's their style.
They have next to nothing to go on. Just for whatever unknown reason, this string of explosives seems to target universities and airlines. Whoever is building these bombs is an expert crafter and careful to not leave any DNA behind. Not a hair, not a fiber. They're encased in beautiful handmade wooden boxes. There are no eyewitnesses to the bombings and no letters from organizations claiming credit. The victims appear to be scattershot of random people. The unknown perpetrator is referred to by the code Unibomb for university and airline bomber. So far, his bombs have killed 1 person and injured 20 others across 5 different states. Unlucky recipients of the Unabomber's early packages include a campus security guard, a handful of graduate students and professors, a secretary, an airline executive, and passengers on a flight from Chicago to DC. Some are injured quite badly. The first death is in 1985, Hugh Scruton, a guy who owned a computer store in Sacramento and was about to get married. What does he have to do with anything at all? Far away in his cabin, Ted reads about his death and chuckles to himself. He hears that the FBI offers a $25,000 reward for any information. He's flattered. The Unabomber is making waves. Not bad for the actions of one man in a 10 by 12 foot shack with no electricity.
Bombs can be very diverse. Mythbusters tested a rumor about being able to make really destructive bombs out of extremely common used base. Yeah, so that's the thing, is a bomb only needs a specific few things that I will not specify nor get into to actually work, to commit the act of a bomb. The variations, and this is why it's important for bomb squads and CSI teams to reconstruct the bomb, is because the materials within the bomb can be extremely variable, which can change the results of it, which it can then explain the motive behind the bomb. Because on top of that, there are things like a smoke bomb. Obviously, that's not what happens in this scenario, but like there's a flashbang is a bomb. There's methods to all of these bombs. There's a purpose, right? And when a bomb is destructive, it can be used. There can be various and different things put into it to be destructive in very specific ways. That being via shrapnel, that being via gunpowder for a bigger bomb, bigger explosion, more destructiveness rather than harmfulness. Obviously, a big explosion does cause harm, but there can be motives behind it based off of the bomb material. Like a shrapnel grenade, a shrapnel bomb might not necessarily be to destroy as much in the vicinity as possible. It could be to injure the specific recipient. Their goal might not be total destruction. Their goal might be harm on a person. Whether random or specific is dependent, but they could pull shrapnel into their bomb. It could be wood chips, it could be nails, it could be screws, it could be all sorts of stuff. And their goal is to push all that debris out with as much force as possible in order to inflict as much injury as possible to anybody within this vicinity, right? But like I said, that's not the only bomb that exists. This is a very varied crime. They can put all sorts of stuff in them. I'm sure Ted Kaczynski's big signature was the wooden box in which the bombs were contained, but I think there's something else within the construction itself that does make him unique. I don't know if I'm making that up, but I feel like I remember that being the case. We'll see if they get into that. I might just be wrong. I do know the wood box thing is for sure, but
running water or phone service. Pretty hard to imagine now. These days, connection isn't optional. It's how we get around, check in, look stuff up, call for help.
Is this going to be an ad?
All of it. That's where Saley comes in.
God damn it! You bastard! That and your beautiful segue.
A homemade chair, a cot, a typewriter,
Fucking
and
do
hundreds
it.
of books.
You ever just feel it coming?
Scraps from junkyards and jars of
This time, connection's optional. That's why I use thing I got paid to say.
chemicals for making his bombs, binders and binders full of notes, all kinds of disguises for delivering the bombs, like wigs and sunglasses, and shoes with fake soles.
I respect it. It's a good segue.
It's crammed to the gills.
I respect that.
But meticulously
I ain't
organized.
gonna watch it though.
At this point, the FBI has zero promising leads, and by the end of it all, they'll never actually find the perpetrator themselves. The bomber is always several steps ahead of them. They'll pursue thousands of
Bombs
dead
are
ends,
hard, man.
spend hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars, and
Like objectively here, bombs are hard to catch. Once again, it all depends on the materials within and in the way in which they're delivered. And in the case of the Unabomber, he was mailing them half the time, if not most of the time. So makes it harder, especially back in the 90s or 80s, whenever, I can't remember the specific years, but in the 90s when this happened, there wasn't nearly as much like tracking expertise as we have in this day and age, you know what I mean? But yeah, like once again, it so much depends on the bomb itself. And the crazy part is some stuff within a bomb could be so monotonous that it could be ruled as part of the area in which was destroyed. That's what goes, this is why bombs are such a fascinating thing within a crime, is because like a pipe bomb is a general term, right? You think of a pipe bomb and you have an idea of what that is, but it could be a lot. It was labeled pipe bomb because people could make them out of a pipe. That's where it sort of got the term. But that's technically like, it could be a lot of things. Yeah, like it was scary due to it being literally a PVC pipe, exactly. But theoretically, that could be a lot of things. A lot of things could technically be a pipe bomb. So, and once again, some things are unfortunately, like it's unfortunately in a way sort of easy to get some materials to make a bomb. The issue with making a bomb is like you could just like blow up and set it off immediately, because it's like a very delicate process that we won't get into because that's gonna not be good for public facing value. I definitely don't want to teach people how to make bombs. It takes a lot of precision, is the point. It's not exactly a careless hobby. So it takes a lot of time and precision. But once again, the materials can be common. And it can be so common that there are cases where like things are completely ruled as part of the scene when they were part of the bomb. You know what I mean?
Pour countless man hours into this case. So well crafted why he's targeting the people that he is.
Skipped that, my bad.
But the bombs are so precise, so well crafted. There's got to be a motive, right?
Pipe bomb is defined by the use of pressure, not the shape. Well, what do you mean? Because the shape also is part of the way pressure is used. So like the shape of a pipe is what causes the pressure in a bomb, in a pipe bomb, to eject in the way that it does. Right? So you're kind of saying a similar thing, if not the same. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but the general shape of a pipe bomb is kind of like a pipe because of the way that it explodes when it's within that sort of dimension. It's not necessarily because it's a pipe. Yeah. You're saying the same thing. It's just Wikipedia has a better way of saying it. Like, you're quoting Wikipedia here. The containment provided by the pipe means a simple low explosive can be used to produce a relatively large explosion due to the containment causing increased pressure. You're giving a much better explanation, like this, like the sort of reason, right? I was explaining the shape. Like, they're used and made that way because of the small surface area, right? Depending on the ignition and the thing that causes the explosion, when that thing is within a smaller confined space, the pressure is bigger. The explosion can be larger. Once again, like, bombs are such a detailed thing. Like, all of it plays a factor, right? Like, all of it is a factor. The shape does, like, what you're saying, you're giving like the definition of why they use that shape. Pipe bombs are made in that shape because of the size and the shape of that containment. That thin sort of pipe structure causes a very small area to commit a load of pressure. So when it's triggered, the bomb is bigger, the explosion is effective, right? It's a very effective bomb for the size of it. Like, you basically said a much more intellectual explanation. So it's exactly why guns are barreled. Exactly. Because when a gun is shot through a cylinder or the trigger, bullets are grooved, and so is the barrel. So when it grooves against the barrel, it spins out with such a velocity that it's faster and more effective. It's a similar concept, but it's more about pressure and bang than directional. That's why you don't have grooves in bombs, because they want a big circular bang, not a sharp pointed direction. I mean, some bombs can maybe do that. I don't know. I have to pee, and my wife has requested my help for something, so I'm gonna go do that. You're back. Yes, sir. Ah. Welcome back. Cirilla Rain, thank you for the 24 months. Elizabeth, thank you for the 20. Anime 80, thank you for the 11. Shelby, thank you for the 9. Keith, thank you for the 15. Panda, thank you for the 55. Blue Birdie, thank you for the 17. Fart month. Right, thank you for the 22. Froggy Shade, thank you for the 43. I don't know where I stopped thinking subs last time. Sorry if I missed it. Oh, excuse me. I'm a little snacky, so I brought some chips up here to eat and not take care of myself. So I'm going to be like muting and unmuting so I'm not like loudly eating chips while we watch a video about the Unabomber. But I'll try to make some commentary here and there.
In 1987, there's finally a break in the case. The Unabomber plants a package outside a Salt Lake City computer store, and a lady spots him. He's wearing a gray hoodie, sunglasses, and sporting a mustache. The police create a sketch.
That's the classic.
Yeah,
I was about to say this is the classic sketch.
Immediately stop, and for 5 years, nobody hears anything from the Unabomber. All kinds of people call him with tips, but the leads go nowhere. The case pretty much goes cold, but the FBI know that it's only a matter of time before he'll strike again. They're sure he's using the time to perfect his bombs. And they're right. In his cabin, Ted is finessing his technique. The upcoming bombs will be a whole lot more lethal. But, as the world will soon find out, he is also busy writing. He doesn't just want his explosives to do the talking. He's crafting a manifesto, one that claims to explain what the mysterious string of bombings is all about.
The Technophiles are taking us all on an utterly reckless ride into the unknown.
Back at Harvard in 1958, the United States is experiencing huge shifts in culture. The button-up 50s are drawing to a close, and the nation becomes swept up in the space race, the civil rights movement, the sexual revolution, the environmental movement, the explosion of drug culture, and all the while, the Cold War is escalating. The American military is paranoid that communists have developed mind-control drugs and brainwashing techniques, and they're eager to catch up, so they're covertly experimenting with ways to manipulate behavior. U.S. intelligence officials are especially interested in developing a perfect truth drug for interrogating enemies, and they believe LSD might be it. But they're also testing a wide range of ways.
Yeah. A big part of the Cold War were the delusions of progression of the opposing parties in Russia and in the United States. So basically, both Russia and the U.S. were convinced that the others were way technologically more advanced than they were letting on. And so they were paranoid of both sides were paranoid of the other retaliating in a way that they were unable to anticipate or be prepared for, which sort of spun this Cold War pressure and paranoia. Cold War is sort of an ironic term in the sense that there was no war. It was cold. There was, because there was proxy wars in which the United States or Russia was funding armaments to other countries to beef with each other in the name, basically in the name of whatever country they were on the side of. There was technically nothing between the US and Russia. Technically. But there is a big looming doubt and paranoia of both countries about what the other was capable of, right? And also plenty of lying by both about what they were capable of. So there was a lot of sketchy experimenting by both places to try to actually achieve what they were bullshitting, essentially. So that's where you get a bunch of this stuff.
That psychological manipulation could bend the will of anyone to do whatever the US military wants. They've even enlisted help from the Nazi scientists who experimented on Dachau inmates with hallucinogens and interrogation methods. The military illegally smuggles these war criminals over to get their advice on brainwashing, as part of Operation Paperclip. Over the course of at least 11 years, thousands of Americans are subjected to unethical psychological experiments that include sensory deprivation, hallucinogenic drugs dosed without consent, subliminal messaging, hypnosis, electroshock therapy, and even ice pick lobotomies. And that's just the stuff we know about. When the project becomes public knowledge in the 1970s, the CIA director orders most of the records to be destroyed. The program is codenamed MKUltra. Many of the test subjects are vulnerable populations.
Which is a thing a lot of you have probably heard about, at least by name.
Like prisoners and hospital inmates, but also students. Students are prime subjects for these experiments because of their frequent contact with professors who play a big part in MKUltra. Some of the professors know the role they play. Many don't. During the post-war period, the CIA becomes the largest employer of college professors, and the military is by far the biggest source of funding for psychological research. Professors acted as consultants and researchers for military-backed projects. They used their status to encourage their students to participate in experiments, often involving drugs like LSD. Afterwards, they reported back to the government. Harvard becomes heavily involved in Army-sponsored studies. One of the CIA's main men on campus is the superstar psych professor, Henry Murray. Murray is well known for his studies of personality, and since the CIA's beginnings, his theories have influenced how they recruit new agents, and how—
Yeah, man, this is all real. This is publicly government documents. Publicly available government documents that were also very redacted and removed as fast as possible, but that doesn't stop many people, does it? I'm sure there's worse within these documents that we don't have because, once again, redacted. Like I said, they were so worried about Russia having such a force that they did not anticipate that they especially wanted some form of interrogation that would allow them to get that information off of Russia. Because all that they had to go off of was the lies of themselves and of the opposition. So they were terrified of everything. Worried about themselves, worried about Russia, worried about their capabilities, worried about their future, their safety, their own coworkers. So truth serum was an extremely sought for thing. I'm sure it still is. But especially during the Cold War due to all this impending paranoia. So they were extremely insistent on making this happen. Which is why there are many an experiment being recollected sort of pertaining to this subject. Which is fucked up. But you'd be shocked to hear that the government, especially the military, isn't exactly ethical. Nor has historically been ethical.
how they interrogate suspects. When Murray and young Ted Kaczynski cross paths, Murray is at the end of his career, and he recruits Ted for his final, most elaborate experiments. They're meant to assess the effects of stress and harsh interrogation on gifted male students. Murray wants to know, what will it take to break an educated, intelligent man? The setup is simple. Ted and 21 other students are asked to write an essay about their most deep-seated beliefs. Then they're told they'll discuss their beliefs with a fellow undergrad. The experiment aims to compare the effects of stress on college men who seem psychologically healthy and well-adjusted, with students who seem alienated, pessimistic, and lacking in identity. Ted is most likely recruited for the second group because he's showing signs of depression. Ted's personal essay stands out as the most pessimistic of them all. It suggests that he was already vulnerable before the abusive test began. He is also the youngest and the poorest in the group. The students are told this exercise is just to study different personalities. In truth, now the real experiment begins. The essays are handed to lawyers trained in manipulation, who are instructed to attack the values expressed in them. The students endure harsh interrogations in brightly lit rooms. They face calculated personal critiques designed to humiliate and erode their sense of self. All the while, electrodes monitor their stress responses. Later, they have to watch these stressful and humiliating moments on video, over and over again, for 3 years. As Murray himself describes it, the tests were designed to be abusive. He's had a lifelong fascination with pain and stress and is known to have a sadistic streak. Plenty of participants will later report the experience to be deeply unpleasant, with lasting trauma. But Ted's responses are the most extreme in every category. Murray's team identifies him as the most traumatized of all. Yes, Ted Kaczynski got MK-Ultra'd. You can read all about it at CIA.gov. In consequence, many claim the CIA created the Unabomber, but that's an oversimplification. It's not so easy to prove how much effect the experiments had on Ted's turn to terrorism. None of the other students in the experiment are known to have become killers. Some psychologists believe the experiments were stressful enough to create anger problems in Ted, or even aggravate latent schizophrenia. But other psychologists evaluate him as undeniably sane. Ted himself dismissed the idea that the tests were anything resembling
Yeah, I mean, you could argue it's hard to prove. You could also argue that he was succeeding societally, then got mentally tortured for 3 years, and then started bombing people. You could draw a connection somewhere in that.
Psychological torture. He was very invested in being seen as psychologically healthy until the bitter end. He's taking great pains to not be painted as damaged or crazy. He wanted his murders to be understood in the context of his beliefs, not his personal history. If people saw his actions as a result of trauma or madness, it would invalidate his ideas. Ideas that formed his last year at Harvard. Ted becomes...
Yeah, this is also a very interesting thing. Like he just said, if you ever read his manifesto, he continuously justifies his own idea, his own disdain. And for that exact reason, he doesn't want to be seen as wrong or delusional. Like he's very insistent that he is correct, and not even in an egotistical manner, because he attacks these argumentative points with a strange logic. Unfortunately, an interesting read. That's all I'll say.
Becomes increasingly disillusioned with the industrial technological system. He comes to believe that technology is slowly destroying humanity and eroding our freedom. He's horrified by widespread psychological suffering and how industrial technology has severely damaged the planet. He's certain that it'll only get worse the more technology develops. So anyone who helps advance technology in any way is the enemy. Scientists, engineers, business people, what Ted calls the technician class. Ted starts having revenge fantasies and becomes obsessed with how society enforces obedience with psychological controls. He daydreams about breaking away from society and living off the grid. Ted graduates Harvard and goes on to get his PhD in math at the University of Michigan. He's quickly establishing himself as a brilliant mathematician and is offered a tenure-track position at UC Berkeley as their youngest professor ever. His students don't like him very much, but he's publishing groundbreaking papers on boundary functions. But Ted resigns one day without warning. He tells his family that he's done with teaching math to future engineers who will advance the industrial technological system and continue destroying the planet.
Yeah, I mean, is he wrong? Maybe in his method of being upset, maybe in his response. I don't think he's upset for an invalid reason, because it does indeed feel like it's gotten worse over time. I wouldn't be shocked if stuff like AI data centers are beginning to be like harassed. They might already be. I don't know to what regard, but you know, yeah, his actions can be condemned, but his reasoning isn't exactly false, for sure. It makes it an interesting case.
Ted buys a bit of land near Lincoln, Montana, and builds a cabin with his brother. He's ready to escape the advanced technology that surrounded him at UC Berkeley. He wants to live a simpler life, far away from everyone he's ever known. And then, he starts to build his first bomb.
Through our bombings, we hope to promote social instability. In industrial society, propagate anti-industrial
He
ideas,
sure did for a bit.
and give encouragement to those who hate the industrial system.
In 1993, the Unabomber strikes twice after a 6-year hiatus. 2 prominent researchers, a computer scientist and a geneticist, receive packages the size of a VHS tape. The bombs detonate upon opening, and both professors are badly injured. Shortly after, the New York Times receives a typewritten letter. It claims credit for the bombs and says the public should expect more to come. In 1994 and 1995, the Unabomber succeeds in killing 2 people with his mail bombs, an advertising executive and a forestry lobbyist. As feared, his explosives have become notably more sophisticated. Bombings are usually accompanied with demands for money or some kind of action. What made the Unabomber so difficult to understand and to find is that his bombs never came with any requests. They seem to be built only to cause fear, injury, and death.
Not a whole lot of clarification besides in his writings
finally makes his demands
at
known.
his cabin.
He writes the New York Times again, announces that he will permanently desist from terrorist activities if they publish a 56-page manifesto. The request kicks off a fierce debate within the FBI and the newspaper, to publish or not to publish. The FBI has a clear policy to not negotiate with terrorists, but they also believe he'll honor his promise and stop killing people. After all, this is what the bombs were seemingly for, to force people to pay attention to his views. Plus, they still lack leads. If the public reads the manifesto, someone might be able to identify the Unabomber, so the manifesto is published. The FBI decides it should just be the Washington Post, though.
Guess what?
Because it has fewer readers, and the newspaper's stands will be easier to surveil. So they think. Interest in the Unabomber is huge. Newspaper sales hit a record high that day, with lines snaking around the block. Across the country, Americans are eager to finally read what the Unabomber has to say. The manifesto opens with an iconic line.
The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race.
And though the manifesto is an argument that calls for dismantling industrial society, it's also, unwittingly, a self-portrait. Within its pages, the Unabomber has accidentally unmasked himself.
Yup. Everybody writes in their own ways.
David and Ted, though 7 years apart and very different, grew up close and loved each other very much. As adults, they had impassioned philosophical debates by mail and shared a lot of the same views. David also worried about technology's destructive effect on humanity. He'd also spent some time living off the grid in a self-made cabin. But David wasn't a killer. When the manifesto is published, he hasn't spoken to his brother in a long time. Ted cut him out when David got married and refused to answer any of his letters. David's wife Linda, a philosophy professor, has a funny feeling about Ted, whom she never met. As the bombings stack up and some of the timings coincide with Ted's travels, Linda tells David, "You've got a screwy brother. Maybe he's the Unabomber." David doesn't want to hear it. Linda doesn't know Ted the way David does. He'd never kill anybody. As a kid, Ted used to cry at the thought of animals getting hurt. But when the manifesto is finally published, David avoids reading it. He doesn't want to admit the similarities. That, like the Unabomber, Ted is an excellent carpenter, and that he had a lifelong fascination with explosives, and that some of the dates match up perfectly with Ted's travels. David only reads it when Linda insists. His jaw literally drops from the first few lines. The killer, like Ted, also hates technology. As it continues, David recognizes idiosyncratic word choices and logical arguments that Ted uses all the time. There is no escaping the truth. Ted is the Unabomber. So after some moral qualms about betraying his brother, David alerts the FBI.
They are bound to make me out to be a sickie, and to ascribe to me motives of a sordid, or sick type. Many tame, conformist types seem to have a powerful need to depict the enemy of society as sordid, repulsive, or sick.
Due to the fact that people don't want to admit that somebody who's completely stable and like them would be capable of doing such atrocities. But, you know, it takes one bad day to do some fucked up shit at the end of the day. And it's unfortunately human. It's happened enough over time, over centuries and years, that this is a very unfortunately human behavior. it's not a common human behavior, but to deny its existence within the normal person is ignorant.
Lincoln, Montana, April 1996. With the tip from David, the feds are staking out Ted's cabin. The investigation is meant to be conducted quietly, but they're interviewing local townspeople, trying to collect more evidence on Ted. Right now, all they have is the linguistic similarities in the manifesto and old letters from Ted that David gave the FBI. Not exactly cold, hard proof, enough for a search warrant, but not an arrest. Rumors start to spread around town that Ted Kaczynski, their very own angry hermit, is the Unabomber. The plan is to draw Ted out of his cabin and get inside before he can escape or destroy any evidence. But they don't know if he has it tricked out with explosives. Nobody would be surprised if he did. Ted has no idea he's under surveillance, so when someone knocks and says some land surveyors need to talk, he believes them and opens the door. He wasn't expecting visitors. These days, he's busy with a dirty job. He's in the middle of rasping aluminum blocks to make powder for more bombs. He's covered from head to toe in the dust. He's rail thin because the rabbit hunting was scarce this season. Ted's hair is wild and his clothes are literally rotting off of his body. But what does he care? He's not trying to impress anyone, and he can clean up fast if he needs to blend into society. Too bad for Ted. He'll be photographed in this state, filthy, emaciated, and in severe need of a shave. The image will circulate around the globe and will not help Ted's desire to seem sane. When the feds swoop in, they find 40,000 pages of journals and plans, most written in code. The code is more complex than anything the FBI had ever seen, more convoluted than codes the KGB used during the Cold War. But Ted also left the key to the code in the cabin. Without it, the FBI wouldn't be able to decipher the decades of written confessions that definitively tied Ted to the bombings. They also find a bomb under the bed, ready to be mailed to an aerospace company in Dallas. Now the FBI has all the evidence they need. They lock up the cabin and take Ted to prison. He does not dispute that the journals with the confessions are his. In fact, he wrote them partially so that nobody would try to say he was crazy. Ted's family and his defense team attempt to convince the jury and the world at large that he is mentally ill. They're doing anything they can to avoid the death penalty, which frustrates him. He tries to fire his lawyers and defend himself. He would rather die than allow his lawyers to plead not guilty by reason of insanity. Ted pleads guilty to his crimes and is sentenced to life in prison. Behind bars, he never stops writing. He publishes 2 books and keeps up a lively correspondence with a wide array of journalists and admirers. He also finally makes some human connections. He strikes up a friendship with Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber who killed 168 people in 1995. Ted and McVeigh are briefly on the same prison block and find they have a lot of views in common before McVeigh is carted off to death row. Ted even finds love for the first time in his life. After a lifetime of struggling to connect with women and never going beyond a few kisses, Ted suddenly has dozens of women writing him romantic or salacious letters. But only one captures his heart, a school teacher he calls his lady love. They spend thousands of hours talking by mail or in visiting booths, but they are never able to touch. He writes classical music for her before she dies of lung cancer. Later, Ted also develops cancer. When the condition becomes advanced, he dies by suicide in June 2023 at 81 years old.
This is not to be a political revolution. Its object will be to overthrow not governments, but the economic and technological basis of the present society.
In the decades since his arrest, Ted Kaczynski continues to fascinate and sometimes inspire. The manifesto's central argument is that technological advancements since the Industrial Revolution have robbed people of their freedom and well-being. These advancements are supposedly responsible for widespread psychological suffering and environmental devastation. It's a revolutionary call to dismantle industrial society altogether and warns that technology will inevitably overpower human autonomy. Many of Kaczynski's observations in the manifesto are true. Some of his predictions are prescient, and a lot of the grievances are understandable. It's not hard to find people who are also frustrated with surveillance or sad about environmental destruction. At the time of his capture, Time magazine wrote, "There's a little bit of the Unabomber in most of us." Nowadays, Ted Kaczynski continues to find admirers online, from teens on TikTok, depressed about climate change, half-ironically saluting Uncle Ted, to the extreme right mass murderer, Anders Breivik, who heavily quoted Kaczynski's industrial society in his own manifesto. But even if most people can find parts of the manifesto they agree with, most people are not willing to kill. Kaczynski knew that most people would be repelled by his crimes, but committed them anyway. Those who find the ideas compelling might want to check out Jacques Ellul, the thinker whose ideas most inspired the manifesto. The philosopher never advocated killing. They also should check out Ted Kaczynski's diaries. They lay bare the personal motivations that drove the Unabomber, beyond the manifesto that was polished for public consumption. Technological society really did seem to anger Ted, but Ted was also very, very angry, in general. In his diary, Ted Kaczynski writes that he was happy to kill innocent civilians. He took pleasure in causing people pain.
Yikes.
He killed at least 9 dogs just because they barked too loud. He hated leftists, he hated doctors, he hated women. He fantasized about killing them just for rejecting him. He fantasized about killing his neighbors just because they annoyed him, including a toddler. He condemned technology as slavery and glorified simpler times that ran on, actual slavery. Kaczynski wasn't even much of an environmentalist. He made fun of them in his diaries. He littered proudly. He poached illegally. He logged on protected lands. You might get the sense that he only used environmentalism as a post hoc justification for his murders. A cynic who identified ecological concerns as the most acceptable excuse for killing.
It's a fair argument. There's a lot of concern for society through technological advancement rather than just environmental damage, to be fair. But, yeah, that's the Unabomber. There's a lot more to it, to be fair. But, very interesting one. Very interesting one. Great video. Fern always makes I've not come across a Fern video I didn't like, to be fair, so I just wish they wouldn't make this aspect ratio infuriating. That's really it. You guys want to watch something Minecraft related as a quick palate cleanser? Oh yeah. We're going to watch a video called Nobody Realized You Could Mind Control Mobs Like This Until Now. As an avid Minecrafter, I'm interested to see what this is even about, because that would be fun. The amount of times I've had mobs in Minecraft just not cooperate is too many. So I'm interested to see what this has to say.
Is one of the most powerful pathfinding exploits I've ever found in Minecraft, and it's usable in survival. It allows you to easily and visibly manipulate where mobs will pathfind to, which can be used to funnel mobs into traps, optimize farms, or even create invisible AI paths. In this video, I'm going to show you how to hijack Minecraft's AI and bend it to your will. By the end, you'll understand that mob pathfinding isn't random at all, it's predictable, score-based, and fully exploitable. Some of the tricks shown in this video are pretty insane, so make sure to stick around to the end. Before you're ready to do all of that though, I first need to explain how mob AI actually works. The AI for all mobs starts with AI goals. These tell us what the mob can do and how likely it is to do it. The one we're going to focus on today is water avoiding random stroll. Note that it has a priority of 7. Lower numbers mean higher priority. Higher priority behaviors can interrupt lower priority behaviors. Every tick, the goal's can use function is called, which determines when it gets triggered. This occurs on a random interval, which is defaulted to 1 in 60. If the 1 in 60 chance hits, the mob will wander.
Which would explain why sometimes the zombies just stand there.
Next, let's see what happens when the mob actually does wander.
If you're near one, right?
To determine where the mob will pathfind to, the get position function is called. This first checks that the mob is not within water. If this is the case, then the code will randomly decide whether to use a random land position or just a random position. The odds of the latter happening are quite literally 0.1%. It is helpful to note here that the 2 numbers at the end of this call represent the XZ radius and the Y radius, respectively. This is the range that the random point can be in. However, if the mob is in water, we check an even wider range. If it fails to pathfind to land in that call, then it'll just default to a regular get position call, which can pathfind into water. This means that mobs prefer to pathfind out of water. Let's go ahead and step into land random pause, because this is where things get weird. First, in get pause, we check if the mob is restricted. Being attached to a lead is one example of this. Next, we're going to generate a candidate position for the mob to pathfind to. And now this is where things get kind of crazy. Some of the blocks chosen as candidates are going to be inside of blocks. To remedy this problem, and to try and keep it as efficient as possible, The code simply moves them up. Now on the surface, this isn't a bad idea. It makes use of all those unused calls that are below the ground, which improves performance. However, this optimization also leads to some undesired results. The most obvious being that mobs prefer to pathfind to high ground. This happens due to the higher density of blocks in high ground areas. While this effect is not desired, it is exploitable. If we can recreate the conditions that cause mobs to prefer to pathfind to high areas, then we can control where mobs pathfind to. Take a look at this setup. This is the setup from the beginning of the video. By placing these extra blocks on the right side, we give the pigs more opportunities to pathfind to that side, thereby biasing them in that direction heavily.
Interesting.
This works because any positions chosen within the green are moved immediately up to the top of the green by the move out of solid function.
So they're
by contrast, any positions chosen.
So they're theoretically given more options, but the same surface area. That's actually fascinating.
Under the red simply failed because they're in air. This leads to the biased distribution you see here. But what can we actually do with it? Take a look at these three pyramids. From the top down, they're identical, but we can tell from the pigs pathfinding around on top that the underside doesn't tell the same story. For example, the bottom left pyramid has all the pigs pathfinding towards the middle. The top pyramid has all the pigs pathfinding towards the outside, and the rightmost pyramid has all the pigs pathfinding fairly randomly. This can actually all be fairly easily explained by just looking underneath. The first pyramid is completely solid. This means that the pigs prefer to pathfind towards the higher points since they have more blocks underneath them. Pyramid number 2, by contrast, is completely hollow, except for the outside, which has a thick layer of blocks.
Which gives them more
This
potential.
causes the pigs to prefer to pathfind to the outside. Finally, the third pyramid is just completely hollow, leading to a completely random distribution.
Wow.
This is just 3 simple examples of what you can do with this feature, and we can take it a lot further. Check this out. Before a mob actually pathfinds to a point, a final processing step is done to determine where it will actually pathfind to. In this step, the 10 candidates generated by the previous steps are then chosen and scored. The highest scoring position is the one the mob actually pathfinds to. Now this is pretty neat, because if we know how to make a block score higher, we can make mobs pathfind to it. So here's the quick rundown on what mobs prefer.
Come in, right?
Animals like grass blocks and well-lit blocks. If you're curious, here's the conversion from light level to pathfinding score. We can actually combine this with the high ground thing to make this fenceless pig pen. Monsters, on the other hand, prefer darker places, using the inverse of this light score function. Turtles prefer water or sand, but also like well-lit blocks. Hoglins avoid warped fungus, but like crimson nylium. Striders like lava, and they don't want to go anywhere else. In addition to following regular monster logic, silverfish also like to pathfind to blocks they can infest. Guardians like water, obviously, but they also like higher light levels. Mushrooms like mycelium and well-lit blocks. And last but not least, bees, when wandering, prefer air over other non-solids. Now that you've seen how all of this works, you're probably already thinking of ways to mess with it. Leave your ideas in the comments. I'd love to see what you people come up with. But before you run off to test it, there's still one more tool you'll need. Minecraft mobs use A-star pathfinding to navigate. This means that once the mob has chosen its block that it's going to navigate to, it generates an optimal path to travel there. Now how it actually does this is a bit more complicated, and it's outside the scope for this video. But to use it, you need to know 2 things.
Kind of a gradual
One is that
thing,
a mob
I
will
think.
always choose the most optimal path to get to its target destination. The second is that a mob will only pathfind up to a number of blocks equal to its follow range. This is 16 by default for most mobs. The neat part about this is, if a mob can't reach the block it's trying to pathfind to in 16 blocks, it'll actually choose to pathfind to the closest block it can reach. This means we can create monoliths like this that the pig will try to reach even though it can't actually reach it in its 16 steps. Since it always chooses the closest block, its movement is actually very predictable, and in this example the pig will almost always choose the top path. This opens up a whole new world of possibilities, because now you don't even have to have a direct path for the pigs to pathfind to, or any mob for that matter. An inert stone pillar in the middle of this platform causes all of the pigs to run into the center. Think of the possible application for farm designs. If this video inspired you, or you have any other questions, please drop a comment below. I'll be responding to as many as I can. The amount of research, code reading, and testing that goes into making these videos is nothing to laugh at. So if you do like videos like this, please make sure to let me know. If you enjoyed the content, please make sure to subscribe. It really helps my channel out a lot.
What
Thank you so
a
much for watching,
fascinating
and have a great rest
discovery,
of your
bro.
day.
Like, that's actually amazing. Like, I can't even lie. Like, I don't even understand half of that. But, like, just finding out about the detection of block pathing like that is monumental. That is so cool, actually. Like, farm designs will drastically change. Like, I'm thinking about mob farms. How do you even find something like that? You read code and you watch. Like, thinking about stuff like how to farm like creeper farms and stuff like that. You put the darker block in the middle to make the creepers desire to get to that top, the top. I don't know why I said it like that. The taller blocks, and they will likely path towards the middle, right? That's crazy, dude. Wow. That's fascinating. Hold on, chat. My hockey team's about to start playing. I've got to make sure I've got it on the side. Watch the pop-up video? No, put it in my suggestions tab. Ooh, this is a long one. It's already been almost 4 hours. I guess 3 hours of this. I did yap for an hour. I kind of want to Minecraft. We can watch this next time, though. I'm kind of down for this video. I do want to watch this video. This is actually something I didn't really study much, if I'm honest, just to be like, just admit it. I don't think I've studied much of that about. So I'd be interested. Let's see here. Let's freaking see. What is happening here? Yeah. I'm looking. What am I looking for? My tunes. My tunes. Sorry. My bad. Can my hockey game load or what? Load! There you go, smile. Like the 5 says loaders on it. All right, chat. So if you don't know, Noxcrew released something between now and TwitchCon. So I wasn't there when it was out. Obviously wasn't expecting them to do that at that time. But they released a thing on Bedrock called Soulsteel. I'm not exactly sure what to expect. It's some kind of I don't know. So we're gonna pretend, or we're gonna attempt to play on Bedrock. I know. I'm scared too. I'm also scared, but look. Yeah.
No, then a burn down.
What am I hearing? What am I hearing?
And was Piranol where down
What
panel.
am I
To
hearing?
down and lead is in the forge.
What?
Free. You are gassy goddamn man.
What?
Hi Sneeg. I'm late but I am here, D.
Uh-huh. What?
Sneeg. What is your opinion on tearaway pants? If a pair showed up in your P.O. box, would you use them for a bit?
Would I use them for a bit? Like for a time frame or for like a joke? What? 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 Yoda. I forgot I have the Star Wars pack, so I can just be fucking Yoda. Hello. Can you? That's not. No. Too small, I am. Cannot equip. Short king, I am. I'm just gonna import my skin, okay. Tiny. Tiny I am. Unable to have cape on back. Does not fit. Fit, it doesn't. I am small. I have to do this one. I have to do this one because it goes so well with the anniversary cape. Shout out to Minecraft for giving me my cape. Snubbed I've been. All right, we're gonna check out Soulsteel here. This is something that Noxcrew made. It seems to be kind of.
I wrote about 6K words for an essay/analysis that I'm doing for fun on an
kind of like
Ninjago
Santa
character.
Time. So I'm
I've only
listening.
seen up to episode 18 plus 2, the 2 pilot episodes out of 210. I'm so normal. Fart sound effect.
Like, I'm assuming your 5 gifted subs was a gifted sub or for a song, so I'll grab that afterwards. I guess you can send me tearaway pants. Also, a thing to keep in mind is this might have in-game music. So don't gift subs right now. Because I can't guarantee. This is a thing. This is a public server, by the way. So if you guys want to join and try it with me, you absolutely can. Your airship has crashed. When you hear the town's crier speak of Port Fortuna, you immediately bought a ticket to the next airship, the home of expiring adventurers, they said. A new continent, an opportunity, a new world to explore. Now you wake up, blah, blah, blah. Explosion. Hold on. Oh, God, the new home jerseys for the Blues look so sick, bro. I can't get over it. So awesome looking.
I forgot to say that I'm rewatching the series. Again, I'm so normal.
You sure are. Excuse me. That's not my skin. Whoa! 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 I guess I'll relaunch Bedrock really quick. Maybe it needs to like lock in. I don't know. The skins have to be approved. Oh. Well, Hannah is an amazing person and made some food for me to consume, so I'm gonna go and get those. I'm gonna go and get that. Yeah. Minecraft, load faster. Minecraft has been loading very slow today. I tried to update Bedrock and Java for today. It's been a monumental effort. Nothing else is lagging on my computer. So it's got to be a Microsoft or Minecraft thing. It's currently just loading. See, like it. All right. I'll be right back.